Chapter 217. Naturally, Qin Feng had informed his subordinates that a young deputy commander would be coming to the holy sanctum. However, he did not expect the deputy commander to be so young. However, some of them recognized Lin Xian because they were part of the operation that night. In other words, Lin Xian had saved their lives. They arrived at the room where they had met Qin Feng and knocked on the door. Lin Xian led Wang Xintong in. Wang Xintong was very nervous because she knew that the person she was about to meet was a domain realm expert. Uncle Qin. Lin Xian saw Qin Feng and greeted him with a smile. You're here. Have a seat. Qin Feng smiled when he saw the two of them holding hands. Lin Xian sat down casually, while Wang Xintong was still very nervous. Uncle Qin, this is my girlfriend Wang Xintong. About the thing that I've troubled you with. Lin Xian scratched his head and said. Of course. Qin Feng's gaze landed on Wang Xintong. He could not see her clearly when they were at the plaza. Now that he was looking at her up close, he could see that she was indeed a beautiful girl. Come, little girl. Release your two attributes first. Let me see how they are. Wang Xintong nodded lightly and released her water and light attributes. Qin Feng sensed it and nodded. Not bad. The water attribute is relatively normal. However, your light attribute is much purer than normal. Plus, light is a rare attribute. So, I will focus on guiding your light attribute cultivation. Thank you, Commander Qin. Wang Xintong said gratefully. Lin Xian smiled and said, Call me Uncle Qin. Uncle Qin. Actually, Lin Xian's intention was very simple. The closer they were, the better their relationship would be. Ha ha ha. Alright, we'll call you that. Follow me to the Holy Sanctum's hall. I'll bring you to complete your information. Lin Xian, what about you? Lin Xian said. Coincidentally, I also have something to do. Uncle Qin, I'll leave Tong Tong to you. Don't worry. For the next 2 days, I will push aside some matters and teach this girl well. Since she wants to become stronger, she can even put it into action. This is a very rare quality for young people nowadays. Go ahead. Wang Xintong glanced at Lin Xian and whispered. Then I'll go with Uncle Qin first. Yes. After that, Lin Xian left the sacred palace. He had 3 ideas when he left the sacred palace. One was to look for Linya. He had not been intimate with her for the past 2 days, and felt that he had neglected her. 2 was to look for Miao Xiaomiao, and see if he could improve the progress of the mission to conquer her. 2 was to go to the Sky Martial Court, because there was still a mission to conquer Lu Yufan that could be completed more easily. In the end, Lin Xian chose the Sky Martial Court. However, before that, Lin Xian had a phone call with Linya. The general content of the call was to tease her and remind Linya to bring the icy snow pearl. When he arrived at the Sky Martial Court's Class 10, there were not many people today. They were probably training. The 2 girls were also training. Lin Xian then went to the villa of the advanced class to look for Ling Ying. Ling Ying was the only one in the villa. Han Chuxue did not even come to the Sky Martial Court today. After spending more than an hour with Ling Ying, Lin Xian received a message from Lin Xian. Then, Lin Xian went to Class 10. Brother Xian. When Wang Fugue saw Lin Xian, he immediately jumped toward Lin Xian and hugged him. F***ck. Lin Xian pushed him away. Then his eyes lit up when he saw Wang Fugue. Yo, why do I feel like you've lost a lot of weight? Lin Xian said with a smile. Hehe. Wang Fugue scratched his head and said with a smile. Of course. I've been dieting and exercising these days. Of course I've lost weight. Don't tell me that's why you called me here so excitedly? Lin Xian walked into the class and sat down. Hehe, of course not. I just wanted to tell Brother Xian that I confessed to Junjun not long ago. She said yes to me. Wahahaha. Oh. Lin Xian raised an eyebrow and took a sip of water. He smiled and said, Sure, but you can't give up on losing weight just because you confessed successfully. Hehe, of course. Then, Wang Fugue told Lin Xian about the things that had happened in the past few days. Lin Xian. When Lu Yufan came in and saw Lin Xian, she ran over happily. Where's Yi? Lin Xian asked in surprise. Lu Yufan was with Yi every day. It was strange that Yi was nowhere to be seen. She just finished training. Yi went home to prepare for the banquet. Tonight is her birthday party. Yi's parents invited a lot of people. All right. Lin Xian slapped his forehead. If Lu Yufan didn't mention it, Lin Xian would have almost forgotten about Yi's birthday party. Oh right, I'm going to Sister Yi's birthday party too. I'll bring Junjun with me. Hee. Wang Fugui scratched his head and smiled. Lin Xian, what are you going to give Yi for her birthday? Lu Yufan asked expectantly. Lin Xian tilted his head and thought for a moment. I don't know. It doesn't matter if the gift is expensive or cheap. How about I give her a deep kiss? Lin Xian said with a smile. Lu Yufan rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. What are you going to give her? Lin Xian asked curiously. Oh, it's just a cloth doll. However, there are 999 paper cranes that I personally made in it. Hee, but don't tell Yi. It had to be said that the relationship between the two of them was really good. 999 paper cranes. How long would it take to fold them? This was much better than buying things with money. Oh right, I celebrated my birthday a while ago. Do you want to give me a gift? Lin Xian asked with a smile. Lu Yufan blinked her big eyes and asked, what do you want? Lin Xian pointed to his lips and said, I want a kiss from you. Wang Fugui secretly gave Lin Xian a thumbs up. As expected of a Casanova, he could talk about this kind of topic with a girl just by raising his hand. Then Brother Xian, Sister Fan, I'll go back first, Wang Fugui said with a special look. Then he said to the remaining dozen people in class 10, everyone come out with me. I'll give out the money. Everyone gets 10,000 yuan. First come first serve. Then, the group of people was led out by Wang Fugui. He even closed the door behind him. Only Lin Xian and Lu Yufan were left in the classroom. What the hell? Lu Yufan mumbled. Then, she looked at Lin Xian with a red face. Pei, who wants to kiss you? Hooligan. Lin Xian laughed. It's not like you haven't kissed me before. Ah, don't say it. Lu Yufan went crazy. Then she wanted to give Lin Xian a punch. However, Lin Xian grabbed her wrist. This was a rare opportunity for him to be alone with Lu Yufan. Wang Fugui helped him. Lin Xian was thinking, why don't I just take her down now? Looking at Lu Yufan's red face, Lin Xian really wanted to kiss her. This girl was indeed a beautiful girl. Chapter 218. This feeling of uneasiness came from two reasons. First, he did have a few girlfriends who were scumbags. This was undeniable. Lin Xian wouldn't deny it either. However, he knew that he might be a scumbag in this aspect, but he wouldn't really abandon a girl or hit a girl. These were things that real scumbags would do. However, this uneasiness came from the fact that he didn't think that he would become a scumbag before this. But now, he didn't think that he would become a scumbag. Would he change in the future? Therefore, Lin Xian felt uneasy. However, this was Lin Xian's bottom line. He felt that it wouldn't happen. The second reason was that he had 3 girlfriends now. If everything went well, he might have more in the future. How should he sort out the relationships between the girls? They might not know that they were Lin Xian's girlfriends, or that Lin Xian already had a girlfriend. But they would definitely know in the future. Lin Xian felt a headache coming on. Abandon a few and only keep one obedient one? That was impossible. Lin Xian couldn't do that. Therefore, he could only choose to be selfish. At least for now, he could control it. Then, Lin Xian opened the scumbag system and checked the second system store that he had been looking forward to for a long time. Lin Xian's current scumbag value appeared in front of his eyes. 48101000, close to 50 million scumbag value. This seemed like a huge number, but Lin Xian knew that it wasn't enough. For example, the current roulette wheel required 4 million scumbag value for one spin. Who could withstand that? After the third spin, it would be 8 million, and then 16 million for each spin. Therefore, this 48 million renminbi scumbag was worth nothing. As Lin Xian's level continued to increase, the amount of scum man points he consumed would also increase. Although the amount of scum man points he obtained recently was in the millions. Second system store. Heavenly Star Fruit. A fruit that can directly increase a person's level by 1 star after consumption. Effective for those below the domain realm. First price. 10000000. The price will be doubled every time. Lin Xian. The first item in the second shopping center made Lin Xian flabbergasted. The effect of the heavenly star fruit was very simple. For example, Lin Xian was currently at the 10 stars of the arcane body realm. And going from the 10 stars of the arcane body realm to the 1 star of the arcane heaven realm was a huge leap. However, after consuming the heavenly star fruit, one would directly jump to the arcane heaven realm. The amount of experience points required to break through to the next realm was extremely high, especially when one's level was higher. However, as long as he needed 1 million scum value, he would be able to increase his cultivation by 1 star. However, this would only increase the level of the major realm he was about to break through. The arcane body realm had 10 stars, the arcane heaven realm had 10 stars, and the thunder tribulation realm had 10 stars. In the future, Lin Xian could directly use the heavenly star fruit to break through these 3 major realms. It would be ineffective if he broke through to the domain realm. However, there might be a third store. However, even though this heavenly star fruit was heaven-defying, the price of each purchase would double. In other words, the 5th pill would cost 16 million. Lin Xian needed 3 pills. But he didn't have many left for his women, because the consumption of scum man points might be too high. However, that might not be the case. It would depend on the effect of obtaining scum man points in the future. However, the effect of this heavenly star fruit was a pleasant surprise for Lin Xian. The amount of experience points required to break through to the arcane body realm by 1 star to the arcane heaven realm was already ridiculous, let alone breaking through to the law realm. However, this fruit could solve the problem. After that, Lin Xian looked at the second item for sale. Obedient water. Spray it at a person of the opposite sex, regardless of their level or realm. Can make them obey your orders for at least 10 seconds. Price, 300000. Lin Xian. F*CK. It's this thing again. What do I need this thing for? A J-fan? F*CK. I can't do it. However, on second thought, if he met an enemy of the opposite sex, this thing seemed to be able to save his life, just like the demon race woman from before. However, this obedient water should be different from the spray from before. It should be the obedient water spray, attribute increasing potion, an extremely rare potion. After consumption, it can increase the purity of a martial artist's attributes by 10% to 30%. Can be used at most once per person. Price, 500000. F*CK. There's actually such a good thing. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Attribute purity was very important. During the Sky Martial Court's examination, they had tested the attribute purity. If it exceeded the standard by 10%, it would be very impressive. However, this potion could actually increase the purity by 30%. This attribute purity was directly reflected in one's strength. For example, if 2 martial artists of the same attribute, strength, and realm were to compare the strength of the lightning released by them, the one with the higher purity would be able to deal more damage. For example, the higher the purity of the wood element, the better the healing effect. If such an item were to be sold on the market, it would be conservatively estimated to be worth more than 1 billion. Moreover, it was priceless. This was because it was basically impossible to increase one's purity through something similar to technology. There was only one way for a martial artist to increase their attribute purity, and that was to absorb the energy of the corresponding attribute. Moreover, it had to be a heaven and earth spiritual treasure with high purity. However, this kind of thing was priceless. The standard purity of a martial artist's attribute was 60 points. To be honest, Lin Xian did not know how many points he had, but it should be very high. After that, Lin Xian did not hesitate to spend 5 million to exchange for the attribute increasing potion. Then he inserted it into his arm like an injection. The potion's energy was surging. Ding! Host's thunder attribute purity is 100. The attribute increasing potion has failed. Lin Xian. What? 100? It's full. Then I'll increase the space. The space's purity is 100. Lin Xian. Lin Xian suddenly realized that it was probably the effect of the rainbow sacred scale. This was incomparably good news. Then, should I give this attribute increasing potion as a gift for Yi? Lin Xian thought of this, and then kept the attribute increasing potion. Other than these 3 items, the second shop had another item that was similar to the first shop's. Attribute increasing exchange can be exchanged for any attribute energy. Immediately after, the first attribute energy's release effect will be increased by 50%. Price, 1 million scum points per use. Lin Xian. Damn. Is the second shop so abnormal? Lin Xian could not help but open his mouth wide. There might not be a lot of items, but to him, it was enough to shock him. The meaning of the attribute increasing exchange was very simple. Lin Xian's current space proficiency was 11%. If he spent 1 million scum points to exchange for it, and then used spatial compression and other spatial powers, it would increase by 50%, which was 61% proficiency release. Chapter 219. Invincible, Invincible, Invincible. Lin Xian was extremely excited. Although the scumbag system's missions were sometimes a little annoying, he had to admit that the items inside were all heaven-defying treasures. The only thing was that it was a scam. The attribute upgrade costs 1 million yuan each time, while the 4 attribute upgrades only cost 50,000 yuan in the first shop. However, Lin Xian knew how to be content. The second shop had definitely raised his abilities by another level. In the past 2 days, the spiritual equipment and the treasures in the shop had raised Lin Xian's level, but his abilities and combat strength had increased by another level. Then Lin Xian walked out. Hee, brother Xian, how is it? After he walked out, he saw a group of people hiding in the staircase. What do you mean, how is it? Lin Xian looked at Wang Fugui. I saw Sister Fan Fan running out while covering her face. Brother Xian, you must have taken her down. Wang Fugui said with admiration. Cough cough, don't talk nonsense. After saying that, Lin Xian walked away. Lin Xian's matter at the Sky Martial Court was also successfully completed. Lin Xian admired himself for being able to conquer 2 girls in just 2 days. Previously, he had spent a lot of effort to conquer Ling Ying, and he had even used a special method. Now Lin Xian could relax for the time being. The only one left was Miao Xiaomiao, but she was a little special. Although she was small, to be honest, she was much harder to fool than Lu Yufan. Lu Yufan bought 2 bottles of water and 2 packets of potato chips from the school's canteen. She saw Lin Xian walking over and handed half of the food to Lin Xian with a red face. Here. Lin Xian took it with a smile. Well, sometimes I don't have much time to accompany you. Please don't take it to heart. Lin Xian gave her a heads up. I know young Master Lin is a busy man. Lu Yufan rolled her eyes cutely. Hee, it's good that you know. After saying that, Lin Xian wanted to hug Lu Yufan's waist, but she dodged. That. Lu Yufan hesitated for a moment and said, let's not announce our relationship to the public for the time being, especially to Yi. I don't want her to know for the time being. Why? Lin Xian asked curiously. However, he felt that this was a good thing. If he announced it to the public, others would definitely know about it. By then Ling Ying and Wang Xintong would also know about it. Then his good days would be over. Furthermore, it would be even more difficult to get the other girls. Because you already have a girlfriend. On the contrary, what Lu Yufan said was what Lin Xian thought. I just don't want to for the time being. Lu Yufan pouted and said. Okay. I'll listen to you. Lin Xian said with a smile. In truth, Lu Yufan's thoughts were very simple. She and Yi Yi were good friends. She knew how Yi Yi felt about Lin Xian. If Yi Yi knew that Lu Yufan and Lin Xian were in a relationship, she would definitely be unhappy, right? It was also because Lu Yufan hadn't thought of how to explain this matter to Yi Yi, so he could only let time give the answer. I'll go back first. Do you want to come to my house tonight, so that we can go to Yi's place together? Or do you want me to look for you? Lin Xian asked. I'll look for you. It's on the way, Lu Yufan said charmingly. Okay. After that, Lin Xian left the Sky Martial Court. He did not take care of Linya for the past 2 days. Then, he went to Linya's company. Linya was still working in her office. Little fairy. Lin Xian walked in with a grin. Linya's first reaction was joy when she saw Lin Xian. However, her next reaction was Lin Xian here to bully and take advantage of her again? Linya put down the pen in her hand and poured Lin Xian a glass of water. She asked, "Aren't you busy recently?" Linya had not seen Lin Xian for the past few days. He did not even come home at night. Linya thought Lin Xian had found a girlfriend and was sleeping outside with her at night. "I'm busy. I'm so busy with all kinds of social events and things. Little fairy, why do you think I'm so handsome? I shouldn't be handsome at my age." Narcissist. Linya rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Then she gently adjusted his collar. "You don't even look good when you're outside. How can you make girls like you?" Lin Xian laughed. Then, he grabbed Linya's wrist and looked at her with a grin. "You're being naughty again." Linya blushed and rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. "Little fairy, I want a kiss." "Go, I want to work." "No, if you don't give me a kiss, I won't let you work," Lin Xian said shamelessly. Linya was helpless. In the past, it was always Lin Xian who took the initiative to kiss Linya. Now, it was very satisfying to let Linya kiss Lin Xian. "Okay, I'll kiss you." Linya was not as shy as before. She closed her eyes and slowly moved forward. Her long eyelashes trembled slightly, proving that her heart was not calm. "Kiss." Linya's red lips kissed gently and then let go. Lin Xian did not demand anything from her. This was good. I'm going to work." Then, Linya walked to her seat in a panic. "Little fairy, it's Yi's birthday party tonight. Let's go together." Linya paused for a moment and then said, "I remember now. Yi also told me that I was planning to go." "That's good. Finish early and we'll go together." Linya nodded slightly. Yi's birthday party started at 8 o'clock in the evening. Normally, they would arrive around 7 o'clock, so they could still make it. Linya worked until 6 p.m. Then, she drove Lin Xian home to change his clothes. "I forgot. What gift should I prepare?" Linya suddenly thought of this. She was going to be Lin Xian's girlfriend in the future. As his older sister, she had to make sure she was on her best behavior. But, would it be too late to buy something good now? Lin Xian stretched out his hand, and 2 potions appeared in his hand. One was a physique-changing potion, and the other was a mental cultivation potion. These were the 2 items in the first mall. The increase might not be much, but in the market, this was definitely something that no one had seen before. It could directly increase one's physique and mental strength like an injection. Even if it was just a little, it was still a priceless treasure. But compared to the attribute-increasing potion that Lin Xian planned to give, it was indeed much weaker. But it was definitely enough. This is a potion that can permanently increase a martial artist's physique and mental strength. Compared to so-called jewelry, diamonds are much more valuable. Linya did not know much, but since Lin Xian said so, she naturally believed him. Then let's buy 2 gift boxes and wrap them up. What are you giving?" Lin Xian smiled and said, "Of course it's something good. You don't have to worry." Lin Xian also wanted to give this attribute-increasing potion to Linya, but she was currently without any attributes. Originally, she had a rare ice attribute that had mutated from the water element, but it had disappeared 3 years ago. But if it could be restored, Lin Xian would definitely give it to her. Chapter 220. The 2 of them went out to buy 2 boxes to pack their presents. Lu Yufan also came over. Then, Linya drove Lin Xian and Lu Yufan to the location of the birthday party. Yi's birthday party was on the first floor of a 5-star hotel. This floor was basically used for parties, banquets, and wedding celebrations. It was very spacious. They could just decorate it and hold the party. Lin Xian. When they got out of the car, a voice sounded. Lin Xian followed the voice and looked over. Then, his eyes narrowed slightly. Qin Xiaotian. This Qin Xiaotian was wearing a decent suit. He really looked like a demonic dog. Qin Xiaotian's mouth curved slightly. His gaze swept across Lin Xian and Linya. When he saw Linya, he was also shocked. How could she be so beautiful? 3 years ago, when he broke in, Linya was also beautiful. However, at that time, she might have been a little immature. After 3 years, Linya had become even more charming and mature. If the Linya 3 years ago could score 80 points, She would be 98 points now. Qin Xiaotian saw the current Linya. To be honest, her temperament and appearance could even be compared to Han Chuxue. Qin Xiaotian regretted it. Why didn't he take advantage of the situation and sully Linya that night? The main reason was that he was very anxious at that time. After getting what he wanted, he quickly ran away. If it were the current Qin Xiaotian, then Linya's situation would be obvious. That's right, he did regret it. When he saw the current Linya, he was very moved, very moved. No wonder he asked Chu Haohan to make a move. A person like him even wanted to possess Linya. At that time, Qin Xiaotian didn't care. However, after seeing the current Linya, he changed his mind. Lin Xian must die, and this Linya must become his woman. Linya didn't have any impression of Qin Xiaotian, so she didn't give him a second glance. What? Are you surprised to see me on Yi's birthday? Lin Xian smirked as he looked at Qin Xiaotian. No, it's reasonable. Who is this? Qin Xiaotian looked at Linya. Of course, she knew who Linya was. But if she asked this question, she could look at Linya. Otherwise, in order to maintain his gentlemanly demeanor, he couldn't stare at Linya. She's my little fairy. After that, Lin Xian took Linya's hand and walked into the hotel. Lu Yufan hurriedly followed them. Qin Xiaotian's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Let's see how long you can live. This Linya will also become my Qin Xiaotian's plaything. Qin Xiaotian sneered. After walking into the hotel, they took the elevator. Linya asked Lin Xian doubtfully, "Do you have a conflict with that person just now?" Linya's thoughts were naturally meticulous. Lin Xian's tone and words didn't seem to be bad. But she knew that Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian had a conflict. Lin Xian nodded. Yes, it's a bit of a conflict. Lu Yufan felt a little wronged. She thought that the conflict between Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian was because of Yi. Now that she was Lin Xian's girlfriend, Lin Xian still had a conflict with Qin Xiaotian because of Yi. So she was jealous. But it was hard to say. What if Lin Xian was just a friend and knew that Yi didn't want to be pestered by Qin Xiaotian? But she felt wronged. But this was normal. Linya nodded slightly and said, "Try not to make enemies when you're outside. It's too dangerous." Lin Xian smiled and said, "Don't worry. How is this considered making enemies? It's just a little conflict. It's nothing." Lin Xian obviously wouldn't tell Linya the truth, at least not now. Otherwise Linya would be worried. Linya nodded slightly. She didn't know much about Lin Xian, at least not now. For example, she didn't know Lin Xian's realm, Lin Xian's friends outside, who his enemies were, how Lin Xian did things outside and so on. But she never thought that Lin Xian would make enemies who would kill the other party. Lin Xian didn't have many enemies, at least not many real enemies. But Qin Xiaotian was more special. He was someone Lin Xian had to kill. Fan, was Qin Xiaotian also invited by Yi? Lin Xian asked curiously. Logically speaking, Yi shouldn't have invited Qin Xiaotian, right? Lu Yufan shook her head and said, "No, Yi didn't invite him. Qin Xiaotian took the initiative. Since Qin Xiaotian asked, Yi couldn't refuse, so she could only agree." Lin Xian sneered. "How interesting. What's this called? A dead pig isn't afraid of boiling water, feeling good about himself. And shameless," Lu Yufan added. Lin Xian smiled. Linya was slightly stunned, then asked, "Is he Yi's suitor?" Because Linya could tell from their conversation that they were talking. Lu Yufan nodded. "Yeah, he's been annoying Yi. Yi doesn't like him and has told him many times, but he still harasses Yi. Yi didn't even invite him to this birthday party. He only came because he asked. He's so annoying." Lu Yufan said unhappily. Linya thought that Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian were love rivals. To be honest, when Linya thought that Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian were love rivals, and that they were both pursuing Yi, she didn't feel good. She was conflicted. She wanted Lin Xian to find a girlfriend, but when she found out that Lin Xian was pursuing another girl, she felt sad and disappointed. It was as if he had seen his true love choose someone else. Therefore, Linya was also very conflicted. It was as if she was really looking forward to what Lin Xian said before. That was to say, let her be Lin Xian's girlfriend, and he wouldn't find another girl. It was as if she was really looking forward to it. She wanted Lin Xian to find a girlfriend as soon as possible. But when it came to Lin Xian pursuing another girl, she felt very disappointed. Lin Xian seemed to have noticed Lin Ye's slightly disappointed expression, and he guessed something. Ding! Detected Lu Yufan's unhappiness, because the host is worried about another girl. Scumbag man value plus 10,000. Ding! Detected Lin Ye's disappointment. Scumbag man value plus 10,000. Lin Ye's disappointment confirmed Lin Xian's thoughts. Lin Xian quickly said, "Well, after all, Yi and I are good friends. If she hates someone, I can't maintain a good relationship with him, right? Also, he's really annoying." Then Lin Xian continued, "As Yi's friend, I definitely have to help. For example, if you hate someone and he's pestering you, I'll help you too." Lin Xian emphasized the word friend, not because he was a love rival or Yi's pursuer. Chapter 221. Lin Xian's words were indeed effective. After Lin Ye heard it, she felt that Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian weren't love rivals. The conflict between them was actually because Qin Xiaotian was pursuing Yi, but Yi didn't like Qin Xiaotian. He was also annoyed by Yi. As Yi's friend, Lin Xian had a conflict with him. Not love rivals, Lin Ye's heart inexplicably felt a lot better. Yi is not bad. She will definitely find a boy she likes to be her boyfriend. If she doesn't like him, and still pesters him like this, it really isn't good. Lin Ye nodded and said. Lin Xian chuckled in his heart. Lin Ye would occasionally reveal a look of disappointment, jealousy and stubbornness on her face. Lin Xian was truly touched by this. But at the same time he wanted to laugh. Women. She clearly loved him to death in her heart. Yet she was still stubbornly trying to get him to find a girlfriend. He hadn't even found a girlfriend, yet he heard that he might be pursuing her. His heart was extremely disappointed. Women. As they chatted, they arrived at their destination for the day. There was a large door in front of them, and they could hear music coming from inside. Outside, a few people from the Yi family were welcoming guests. Big brother Yi. Lu Yufan saw a man who was around 23 or 24 years old, and called out, "Oh, it's Fan Fan." Yi Mingkai looked at Lu Yufan, and revealed a smile. Lu Yufan said to Lin Xian, "Big brother Yi is Yi's cousin. He has a good relationship with Yi. We've met many times." Lin Xian nodded slightly. "Big brother Yi, this is Lin Xian, and this is big sister Yaya. They are both Yi's good friends." Lu Yufan introduced. Yi Mingkai glanced at Lin Xian, then his gaze fell on Lin Ye. He was instantly shocked. Yi was already one of the few beauties he had seen. But compared to Lin Ye, there was still a gap. Moreover, Yi Mingkai knew that Lu Yufan was Yi's best friend, and Yi had almost no male friends. Now that Lu Yufan said that this Lin Xian in front of him was Yi's good friend, Yi Mingkai took a few more glances. "Hello, I am Yi's cousin Yi Mingkai." Yi Mingkai nodded slightly at them. It wasn't that it was impolite, but Lin Ye was there. As a boy, it wasn't the most polite thing for him to do in this situation. "Then we'll go in first," Lu Yufan said charmingly. "Okay." Yi Mingkai opened the door for them, and the three of them walked in. "Wow, it's so beautiful." Lin Xian looked at the party in front of him, and couldn't help but exclaim. Although his family was rich, it was his and Lin Ye's first time attending such a large party. The entire venue was lit up, and there were tables filled with all kinds of food and drinks. There were 2 stages, and at this moment, there were some beautiful men and women dancing on them, adding to the atmosphere. There were about 100 people in the venue, which was considered a lot. Everyone was eating good food, listening to music, and chatting with each other. Everyone had happy smiles on their faces. Lin Xian really hadn't attended a party before, and neither had Lin Ye, let alone such a big one. If others knew that the two of them had never attended a party before, they would be incomparably shocked. Forget about Lin Xian, but Lin Ye, such a beautiful woman, would definitely be the center of attention wherever she went. Who would believe that she hadn't attended a party before? However, Lin Ye really hadn't. At most, she attended her own company's annual party, but the so-called annual party was just the whole company going out to eat together. There might be some programs, but it wasn't a party. Linya had devoted all her heart and energy to Lin Xian all these years. Lin Xian also knew this, so Lin Xian felt that he owed Linya too much. Linya had spent the best years of her life taking care of Lin Xian and developing the company. As a result, she hadn't even attended a proper party. For such a birthday party, there were naturally more young men and women. The adults who were invited would basically bring their own children. They also had to give face to Yi Yi's father. After all, the Yi family was also a big family in Tianhua City. To be honest, there weren't many meaningful friends. Of course, there weren't many true friends. The appearance of the two beauties, Lu Yufan and Linya, naturally attracted a lot of attention. Lu Yufan was still alright. After all, she was still young. Even if she was beautiful at this age, her beauty didn't really stand out. However, Linya was different. Her age was definitely the most beautiful years. Young Master Tian, hurry over there. In the venue, a few men were chatting together. Suddenly, their eyes fell on the area near the entrance, and then they saw Linya. Zhang Tian's gaze fell on Linya, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Who is this woman? She's so beautiful. Zhang Tian couldn't help but ask. His Zhang family was also one of the top families in Tianhua City. He, Zhang Tian, was a super expert in the Sky Star Academy's advanced class. He was in the same position as Qin Xiaotian and Ling Ying in the Sky Martial Court. I'm not sure. I've never seen her in all the interactions in the upper class. Chun Hui shook his head and said. However, the one beside her is Lu Yufan from the Lu family. She and Yi Yi are very good friends. They seem to know Lu Yufan too. Go and investigate. I've taken a liking to that woman. Zhang Tian shook the red wine glass in his hand and said with a smirk. Linya's appearance had indeed brought the party to a climax. Moreover, Linya had that kind of cold temperament outside. This kind of temperament was the most noticeable to men. Lin Xian. At this moment, a woman's voice in the venue attracted more people's attention. Xiao Runing walked over with a smile. Xiao Runing was also the focus of attention in the field. She had just been surrounded by several men who were trying to strike up a conversation with her. She was also very speechless. Fortunately, Lin Xian and the others had arrived at this time, allowing Xiao Runing to escape. Is he not here yet? Linya asked. This question was enough to show that Linya really had no experience in parties. Xiao Runing said with a smile. Yi is the main character. The birthday party hasn't officially started yet. She'll appear later. Let's go, there's a lot of good food here. You haven't had dinner yet, right? Just treat it as eating here. Miss Xiao, you have to protect little fairy. Don't let others hit on her. Lin Xian said with a smile to Xiao Runing. The surrounding horny students kept glancing at the three beauties. Some of them were chatting with each other and occasionally glanced over. Beauties were the essence of a party. Clearly, in today's party, the value of beauties was extremely high. Xiao Runing said with a smile to Lin Xian. Your sister doesn't need me to protect her. Look at her. Others don't even dare to hit on her. What are you worried about? Chapter 222. Linya would only reveal her most gentle side to Lin Xian and Lin Xian's close friends. However, in such an occasion, her cold temperament made the men who wanted to strike up a conversation retreat. The main reason was their inferiority complex. Linya's appearance and temperament would make the men subconsciously wonder if they were worthy. The answer was they were not. Only those with superior status would have the courage to strike up a conversation with her. Lin Xian smiled and said, That's true. You guys go ahead and have fun. What about you? The girls looked at Lin Xian in surprise. Me. I still have something to do. After saying that, Lin Xian walked away. There are so many girls here. He must have gone to hit on other girls. Lu Yufan wrinkled her nose cutely. Her face was full of grievance, jealousy, and dissatisfaction. His girlfriend is still here. You're going to hit on other girls? If it were other girlfriends, they would have cried and made a fuss or broken up. However, Lu Yufan did not know why. Perhaps she was jealous, but she would never break up with Lin Xian. Perhaps it was because she really liked Lin Xian. There was another important reason. It must be because Lin Xian's previous persona was that of a sloppy guy who would speak sweet nothings to girls and hook up with girls in all sorts of ways. Lu Yufan was used to it. Once she was used to it, it was different. She was used to it, even though she was his girlfriend now. Then why don't you stop him? Xiao Runing teased. No way. It's none of my business. I'm following Miss Xiao and Sister Yaya. Lu Yufan believed that even if Lin Xian hooked up with girls, he would not be able to do anything. Moreover, if she kept following Lin Xian, he might even feel annoyed. Moreover, she did not want others to know about her special relationship with Lin Xian. Therefore, she would definitely not go. To Lu Yufan, it was more important to build a good relationship with Linya. As for Lin Xian, of course, he was not there to hook up with girls. He was there to save them. This was because he saw Ling Ying in the distance being surrounded by a few men who were trying to strike up a conversation. Everyone was Yi Yi's good friend. On her home ground, no one wanted to cause any unhappiness. Under normal circumstances, who dared to hook up with Ling Ying and stay? Ling Ying had already thrown a tantrum and even made a move. However, Ling Ying did not want to ruin Yi Yi's birthday party. He also did not want to embarrass the others. Therefore, he could only endure it. She also saw Lin Xian. However, Lin Xian was with Linya and the others just now. Ling Ying felt that there was a barrier in her heart that prevented her from facing Linya. It was as if she was a dishonorable girlfriend, but in fact she was not. However, that was what she felt in her heart. 2 of his 3 girlfriends were present. Fortunately, Wang Xintong and Yi Yi did not know each other. Otherwise, with all 3 of them present, Lin Xian would definitely feel that the 3 bowls of water would not be enough. Ling Ying, give me your phone number. Zhang Tian said to Ling Ying with a smile. Ling Ying was an expert from the Sky Martial Court. Zhang Tian was an expert from the Sky Star Academy. It was normal for them to know each other. However, they definitely knew each other. Ling Ying was also an absolute beauty. Zhang Tian had long fallen in love with her. However, her personality and other aspects did not bother him at all. He was also helpless. However, she did not chase him away today. This made Zhang Tian feel that he had a chance. Zhang Tian felt that as a man, he could not hang himself on a tree. Perhaps he could take down Ling Ying. Even better, he could also take down the beauty he just saw. He would not lose out no matter what. Otherwise, what was the point of him attending this birthday party? He even wanted to see if there was a chance, and wanted to strike up a conversation with Yi Yi. Sorry, there's no need, Ling Ying said faintly. Then, he saw Lin Xian walking over, and heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. This man was still somewhat useful. Lin Xian walked over. Along the way, he saw Qin Xiaotian talking and laughing with a few people. Lin Xian naturally ignored him and walked over. Beauty, I wonder if I can invite you to have a drink with me? Lin Xian said to Ling Ying with a smile. Zhang Tian frowned and turned to look at Lin Xian. His face was full of dissatisfaction. Wasn't this the guy beside the beauty just now? Kid, didn't you see that my brother Tian came first? A young man who was about the same age as Lin Xian walked over from the side. Lin Xian shrugged and said, Brother Tian? So what if you came first? When it comes to hitting on girls, it's about whether or not you can hit on her. It's not about who came first. Understand? Zhang Tian laughed involuntarily. Then may I ask if you can hit on her? Lin Xian smiled and looked at Ling Ying. Then, he picked up a glass of wine beside him and clinked it with Ling Ying's glass. He asked, Beauty, after the gathering, let's go watch a movie, have supper and get a room. How about that? Ling Ying smiled sweetly. Forget about getting a room, but watching a movie and having supper is fine. After saying that, the 2 of them walked away side by side. Lin Xian even turned back and raised his glass to Zhang Tian. Ka! Zhang Tian clenched his fists. Who is that kid? Zhang Tian said angrily. Just a piece of trash. At this moment a voice came from the side. Zhang Tian turned around and frowned. Oh, isn't that Qin Xiaotian? Zhang Tian's mouth curled, but his eyes flashed with a hint of hidden viciousness. Qin Xiaotian might be powerful in Tianhua Academy, but there were many powerful people in Tianhua City. Zhang Tian's strength, talent and family background were not inferior to his. Therefore, he was not afraid of Qin Xiaotian at all. Qin Xiaotian swirled the red wine glass in his hand and smiled. Actually, you don't have to feel unhappy. The reason why he could hit on her was because the two of them know each other. Oh, how do you know? We're all from the Sky Martial Court. Zhang Tian took a sip of red wine and asked, "Is that young man also a member of the advanced class from the Sky Martial Court?" Qin Xiaotian shook his head. If he's not from the advanced class, how did he know Ling Ying? I even feel that their relationship is quite good. Qin Xiaotian shook his head and said, "It's probably because they were in the same group when the three major factions went to Limfeng City. Under such a dangerous situation, they came back alive together. It's normal for their relationship to be slightly better." "I see. Then why are you here?" Qin Xiaotian sneered and said, "I don't have any other intentions. In the demonic beast domain, this kid almost caused me to not be able to come back. Therefore, I'm very unhappy to see Brother Zhang Tian suffer in his hands." "Oh, he almost caused you to die outside? This person is sinister and cunning. He's vicious, but in the end, he's just a piece of trash who just stepped into the arcane body realm." After saying that, Qin Xiaotian patted Zhang Tian's shoulder and said, "Brother Zhang Tian, you can do whatever you want." "TSK," Zhang Tian sneered. "Qin Xiaotian, don't think that I don't know that you just want me to be your weapon." Chapter 223. That's right. Although Qin Xiaotian was certain that Lin Xian would definitely die, it would be extremely good if he could use others to humiliate Lin Xian a few times before that. It would be very good to vent his anger. Wasn't Zhang Tian a very good chess piece? No. What do you want to do with me? What does it have to do with me whether you do it or not? I'm just informing you. Then why don't you humiliate him? Zhang Tian asked. That's because we're from the same academy. The instructors of the Sky Martial Court are also here. It's inconvenient. Qin Xiaotian left after he finished speaking. Zhang Tian's underling walked over and whispered, "Brother Tian, don't believe that guy." Zhang Tian sneered. This Qin Xiaotian looks like a gentleman on the surface, but he's actually an extremely shrewd person. Furthermore, he's extremely disgusting. If this young master were to listen to him, wouldn't I be a fool? He only had hatred for Qin Xiaotian. He had no other feelings for him. He was the only one who knew the reason. Zhang Tian then glanced at the two people who were talking and laughing in the corner. How can that brat talk and laugh with such a beauty? Did you find out? Yes. That woman is the chairwoman of the Yixian Group. Yixian Group? Is that the company that sells special clothes? That's a good brand. The underling nodded. That's right. The company isn't big. Moreover, she has never had any abnormal contact with any man. She doesn't even attend gatherings or events. She's very clean. What about Lin Xian? He's her younger brother. Zhang Tian was speechless. What? Younger brother? Zhang Tian rubbed his chin. This was troublesome. He wanted to make a move on Linya, but Lin Xian was her younger brother. If his relationship with Lin Xian deteriorated, he would become an obstacle. Brother Tian, if it doesn't work, can't you just drug her? Get lost. No matter how useless she is, she's still the chairwoman of an important clothing company in Tianhua City. Moreover, she's quite calm. If I drug her, even if she falls for it, I'll feel good for a while. After that, I'll be crippled in Tianhua City. Moreover, although this young master isn't a good person, I would never do something as despicable as drugging someone. If you say it again, die. Zhang Tian angrily cursed. I know I was wrong. That little brother trembled all over. He didn't know why, but Zhang Tian suddenly exploded when he spoke up to hear. Zhang Tian glanced over and calmed his heart before he said, She seems to have a good relationship with the Sky Martial Court's instructor, Xiao Runing. We can't fight her. Brother Tian, isn't she just Xiao Runing? To put it nicely, she's a mentor and we're students. But what's so special about her? Zhang Tian kicked that little brother. What the hell do you know? This Xiao Runing is the daughter of Tiandu's Xiao family. With just a word, your father's Zhang family will be gone. Forget it. Since she has a good relationship with Xiao Runing, at least I can't do anything with her around. However, that Lin Xian, I think the person who saved 40 people from the Sky Martial Court is called Lin Xian. He's also a space attribute cultivator. Could it be him? I can't be his enemy. It's not bad if we can become friends. The corner of Zhang Tian's mouth curled up. Brother Tian, you want to be friends with him? Zhang Tian's change was too great. Zhang Tian was not a fool. He would think carefully about who he could offend and who he could befriend. For example, he would never befriend someone like Qin Xiaotian, because he knew Qin Xiaotian's character very well. As for this Lin Xian, Qin Xiaotian said he was ruthless and extremely sinister, but Zhang Tian didn't believe it. Would such a person be willing to die to save others? It was impossible. Therefore, the possibility of Qin Xiaotian killing someone with a borrowed knife was established. Zhang Tian thought about it carefully. There were no benefits to becoming enemies with Lin Xian. In fact, it would be bad for him to pursue Lin Xian's sister. Whether he pursued her or not was a matter for the future. Zhang Tian's current thought was that since Qin Xiaotian and Lin Xian were sworn enemies, why couldn't he stand on one side and deal with the other? An opponent that Qin Xiaotian cared about would definitely be someone Qin Xiaotian had to kill. Then, Zhang Tian walked over. Young Master Lin. Zhang Tian smiled and handed Lin Xian a glass of wine. Lin Xian frowned and glanced at him. If you want me to teach you how to pick up girls, pay up. No. Actually, I think girls are useful to men, but a good friend is even more useful. What do you think? Bullshit, what's a good friend? Is it more important than a woman? Can you do it? Zhang Tian. Linging. Linging was really helpless. This Lin Xian, a vulgar person. He only knows how to pick up girls. Zhang Tian was also stunned. Then, he couldn't help but laugh. Interesting, really interesting. Young Master Lin, I might have something that you're interested in. I wonder if you're interested? Lin Xian looked at Zhang Tian. This person gave him a feeling similar to Qin Xiaotian, but he didn't hide some of his flirting skills. This proved that he was much better than Qin Xiaotian. I'm only interested in women, Lin Xian said. Ha, we're kindred spirits. I'm only interested in women, especially beautiful women. After saying that, Zhang Tian glanced at Ling Ying, and then looked at Lin Xian. But I think you should have other things that you're interested in. Why don't we talk about it alone? Okay, then I'd like to see what you have that interests me. Please follow me. Zhang Tian then walked away. Ling Ying reminded, this Zhang Tian isn't a good guy. Qin Xiaotian might not have a chance of winning against him. Also, rumor has it that he likes both men and women. Be careful not to be targeted by him. Lin Xian. That only proves that your man is too handsome. After saying that, Lin Xian walked over. In the corner, Lin Xian walked towards Zhang Tian. I won't beat around the bush. You don't get along with Qin Xiaotian, right? Oh, could it be that you don't get along with him? Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. Zhang Tian smiled and said, it's said that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. I'm not his enemy, but my Zhang family and Qin family are. He wants me to attack you, but I think it's better if we work together. Lin Xian shrugged and said, I don't have such a big family background to work with you. I only need your conflict with Qin Xiaotian, and that's enough. Also, I believe in your ability. What do you think? Lin Xian thought for a moment, then looked up and said, what do you want to do? Killing Qin Xiaotian was inevitable, but before that, Lin Xian had to ruin his reputation and expose his mask. If Zhang Tian and Qin Xiaotian really didn't get along, then he could become his partner. I want to ruin his reputation. If I ruin his reputation, the Qin family will definitely be affected. If I can make him do something big, then it'll be perfect. After saying that, Zhang Tian took out a phone. Chapter 224. Lin Xian also wants to ruin him. No, to be precise, he wants him to self-destruct. But is that possible? Zhang Tian waved the phone in his hand and said, there's an audio in here without any Photoshop. It's a conversation. You can listen to it. Then, Lin Xian put on the headset and heard the conversation between Qin Xiaotian and a man. The content of the conversation was roughly, Qin Xiaotian wants him to kill someone. As for who to kill, it was very vague. It's impossible to tell. The reason why he thought it was Qin Xiaotian was because the voice was exactly the same. But some things can't be confirmed. See, this is Qin Xiaoyan's real face. I believe you know it too, right? If you're not a threat to Qin Xiaotian, he won't care about you. Zhang Tian said. Just this. Lin Xian laughed. Zhang Tian sighed and said, indeed, a recording is too weak. Even if the voice is the same, it's useless. But this represents my sincerity, doesn't it? Lin Xian sneered. First, I don't trust you. Second, I saw the scene of you talking to Qin Xiaotian. What if this is a conspiracy between you and him? Third, I can solve the problem between me and him. Lin Xian chose to give up. This Zhang Tian gave him an unreliable feeling. He might even lose his life. Then, Lin Xian was about to leave. Wait, Zhang Tian stopped Lin Xian. Is there anything else? I won't tell anyone about you. Don't worry. Lin Xian said to Zhang Tian. No, actually forget it. I'll tell you the truth. Zhang Tian sighed slightly. Then his eyes flashed with hatred. The reason why I want to attack Qin Xiaotian is because of my sister. Oh, Lin Xian raised his eyebrows. Zhang Tian clenched his fists tightly. 2 years ago, my sister unfortunately left this world. It's Qin Xiaoyan's doing. I say, your excuse is too clumsy. Now it makes me even more suspicious that you're just baiting me. Lin Xian sneered. Zhang Tian shook his head. No, I'm telling the truth. You can check my sister's background. My name is Zhang Tian, and her name is Zhang Ai. Even if it's true, how could Qin Xiaotian be responsible for your sister's death? Lin Xian asked. 2 years ago, my sister's body was found outside a relatively remote county in Tianhua City. Her cause of death was that her heart meridian was broken by a palm strike. The reason why I said it was done by Qin Xiaotian is because I was at the scene at the time. Beside my sister's body were the 2 words she wrote before she died. One was Qin, and the other was a half-written word Xiao. As he spoke, Zhang Tian clenched his fists tightly. Are you sure it was Qin Xiaotian who did it? Of course not. You should know that Qin Xiaotian is of the ice attribute, right? Lin Xian nodded. 3 years ago, he was at most a slightly more powerful ice attribute martial artist. At that time I could beat him up. But one day, the ice attribute power he displayed suddenly became much stronger. At that time, I even suspected that he was deliberately hiding it, or that he had obtained some kind of treasure. Otherwise, it would be impossible for his ability to control ice to suddenly become so strong. At that time, I was no longer his opponent. Lin Xian frowned. This should be because he absorbed Lin Ye's ice attribute. The timing also matched. 2 years ago, something happened to my sister. My sister was also of the ice attribute, and she was also a genius of the ice attribute. However, after that, no ice element was found in her body. At the same time, Qin Xiaoyan's ice control ability had reached a new level. I deliberately went to compete with him, but I was beaten by him. Coupled with the 2 words my sister wrote before she died, my suspicions about Qin Xiaotian deepened. I suspected that he killed my sister and used some method to seize my sister's ice attribute. It just so happened that his ice control ability had become stronger, so I couldn't help but suspect him. Indeed, these 2 points added together were worthy of suspicion. Then does your sister have his fingerprints? Zhang Tian shook his head. This is also the strange part. There are no fingerprints, and that palm didn't leave anyone's fingerprints. This proves that he deliberately hid it. However, just based on this, isn't it too hasty to infer that he is the murderer of your sister? In fact, Lin Xian was already convinced, and he also believed Zhang Tian's words. Wasn't Lin Ye the same? That must be Qin Xiaotian. Of course not. Later, I investigated with doubts about Qin Xiaotian. By chance, in the deep cold valley of the demonic beast domain, I found that he was dealing with an ice attribute demonic beast. When he was about to kill it, he was actually absorbing the ice attribute demonic beast's ice attribute. So I was basically sure that he was the one who could absorb the ice attribute. Zhang Tian clenched his fist tightly. This should be some kind of evil martial skill, but I have never heard of it. Since he can use it, then combined with the previous events, I concluded that it was him. Then Zhang Tian continued. The recording I just played for you was recorded a few days ago. I have been collecting evidence for the past few years, but I didn't get much. Because once he finds out, it won't be good. All the evidence is just that recording. Didn't you record him absorbing the ice attribute of the demonic beast? In that case, I could only see it, but I couldn't secretly record it. Then Zhang Tian continued. Although I can't be sure, I believe that the person he wanted to kill in the recording was you, right? Lin Xian didn't say anything. That Qin Xiaotian usually doesn't have any enemies, because his mask is too real. But he took the initiative to find me to deal with you. I knew that you and him must not be on good terms. And the person who can make him take the initiative to kill must be someone he must kill. So it must be you. Lin Xian nodded slightly. That's right. If you recorded it these few days, then it must be me. Lin Xian nodded. Since it was confirmed that Zhang Tian was telling the truth, then they were indeed friends on the same side. So why can't we work together? Zhang Tian looked at Lin Xian. Since you are sure that the person is Qin Xiaotian, why didn't you kill him? Or perhaps, you didn't tell your family? Lin Xian asked. Zhang Tian shook his head. My so-called confirmation is actually mostly speculation. If I tell my family, it may cause unnecessary trouble. As for why I didn't kill him, my realm might be similar to his, but I'm definitely not his opponent. And with my ability, I can't find an existence that can absolutely kill him. Moreover, killing him is secondary. I want his actions to be known to the public and give justice to my sister. Zhang Tian secretly clenched his fist as he spoke. To be honest, wasn't this Zhang Tian's thoughts exactly the same as Lin Xian's? Lin Xian also wanted Qin Xiaoyan's actions to be known to the public before he killed him. Chapter 225. Lin Xian felt that since his experience was similar to Zhang Tian's, and he even wanted to do the same thing, why couldn't they work together? Lin Xian felt that killing Qin Xiaotian was not difficult. Even if he could not do it now, Lin Xian felt that he could do it in a short period of time. However, there was no meaning in simply killing him. That was not the best way to vent his anger. What do you want to do? Lin Xian asked. Zhang Tian said. Since he is a villain, he will definitely continue to do sinister things. We only need to set up a trap. As long as he falls into the trap, with the strength of the two of us, we will definitely be able to tear off his mask and let everyone see. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. You mean to find a martial artist with a cold body, or an ice attribute martial artist as bait? That's right, but it is too difficult for one person to do it. Therefore, we need two people to work together. Lin Xian nodded. That is possible, but the difficulty is still too high. First of all, for safety reasons, your strength must be enough to kill him. At the very least, you must be able to escape unscathed. Just in case. Qin Xiaoyan's strongest point is actually his cold energy. It is very terrifying. He should have just entered the mysterious heaven realm. I have waited for 2 years, so it is not a big deal to wait a little longer. During this time, I will continue to collect evidence of him. Lin Xian shook his head. During this period of time, you should put it aside and improve yourself to avoid any mistakes. Right now, our priority is to improve ourselves and find an ice attribute martial artist who can enter Qin Xiaoyan's eyes, build a good relationship with him, and make him agree to help us in the future. Okay, this is my phone number. Zhang Tian handed Lin Xian a business card. In his opinion, Lin Xian, who also hated Qin Xiaotian, was someone who was willing to sacrifice himself to save others. There was basically nothing for him to worry about working with someone like Lin Xian. Lin Xian took it and was about to leave. Wait a minute. May I take the liberty to ask, why did you and Qin Xiaotian become enemies? A woman. Lin Xian nodded. That's right, a woman. With that he walked away. Zhang Tian himself did not expect to meet an enemy of Qin Xiaotian at such a birthday banquet. At the same time, Qin Xiaotian became his comrade. This way it might be a lot better. Lin Xian came to Ling Ying's side, seemingly deep in thought. What are you thinking about? Ling Ying handed Lin Xian a glass of wine. Little Ying, do you know who in our Tianhua city has the ice attribute and is quite powerful? Lin Xian asked. The ice attribute was a mutated attribute of the water attribute. It was equivalent to a rare attribute, and it was indeed very strong. I have a powerful ice attribute, Miss Xiao. Lin Xian shook his head. Miss Xiao won't do. Qin Xiaotian naturally knew that, but he was certainly not Xiao Runing's opponent. How could he lay his hands on Xiao Runing? Han Shushue too. Han Shushue, Lin Xian muttered to himself. Probably not. Qin Xiaotian and Han Shushue had been together for so long, but Han Shushue was fine, which meant that Qin Xiaotian should not be able to lay his hands on her. As for the others, I only know of some, but they are not strong. Forget it, let's not think about it. With that, Lin Xian secretly pinched Ling Ying's butt, causing Ling Ying to roll his eyes. What do you want? What did you talk about with Zhang Tian? Lin Xian grinned. Guess. Forget it if you don't want to say. Ling Ying said in a bad mood. Did Auntie go back? Lin Xian asked. Ling Ying nodded. She went back. Then can I go to your house tonight? Lin Xian revealed a smirk. Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian vigilantly. What are you doing? My period is still here. Wasn't it a special period last time? But you. Ling Ying's pretty face suddenly turned red. Then she stepped on Lin Xian's foot and left. F***ck. Lin Xian then stayed with Linya and the rest. After about 10 minutes, the venue suddenly quieted down, and then they all walked to the stage. Yi and the rest are coming out. Lu Yufan suddenly became excited, and Lin Xian also looked over. From the door at the back, a few elders of the Yi family walked out with smiles on their faces, greeting each other, followed by Yi Yi's parents, and then Yi Yi walked out. Yi Yi was especially beautiful today, wearing a white evening gown. She dressed up a little, and with her tall figure, she was able to hold up such a beautiful evening gown. However, she seemed to be inexperienced. In such an occasion, everyone's eyes were on her, and her pretty face was flushed. Wow, suddenly, the venue was filled with applause. Qin Xiaotian's eyes narrowed. Although Yi Yi could not compare to Han Shushue now, it did not mean that she would not be able to compare in 4 or 5 years. Yi Yi was still a little green now, and a woman's most beautiful age was definitely after she reached adulthood. She was still a year away from adulthood. Wow, Yi is so beautiful today. Lu Yufan exclaimed beside Lin Xian, her little mouth slightly agape. She was so envious. Yeah, she's especially beautiful today. Lin Xian also nodded repeatedly. No, I have to get this girl too. Unknowingly, Lin Xian's heart was in ruins. Even if he did not trigger the mission now, Lin Xian still wanted this girl. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Lu Yufan snorted cutely. He actually called another girl beautiful in front of her. She was unhappy. Okay, you're also very beautiful. Lin Xian secretly pinched Lu Yufan's perky butt and smiled. At this time, Lu Yufan's shyness was greater than her previous dissatisfaction. Linya also looked at Yi Yi with great satisfaction. She was indeed a lady from a respectable family. Yi Yi's father, Yi Nantian, smiled and walked in front of the microphone. Then he waved his hand, and the venue suddenly quieted down. Everyone, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend my daughter's birthday party. As a father, I have not done my duty. It has been 17 years, and I have almost never held a proper birthday party for Yi. This time, I finally took the time to invite everyone to my daughter's birthday party. Thank you for your support. Wow, thunderous applause came from below. The Yi family was one of the top families in Tianhua City, and everyone still had to give them face. On the stage, Yi Yi's beautiful eyes searched for the figure she was looking forward to. Then, she saw Lin Xian behind the crowd, and her heart was filled with sweetness. Among everyone, Yi Yi was, of course, looking forward to Lin Xian the most. Today, she dressed up beautifully, but in her heart, she wanted Lin Xian to see her. Qin Xiaotian saw Yi Yi's gaze, and then turned his head to follow her gaze. However, he saw Lin Xian smiling at Yi Yi. Click, 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 jealousy burned. Why was this Lin Xian able to obtain everything that he couldn't? Chapter 226. On the stage, Yi Nantian smiled and said, Next, we the Yi clan, have hidden 5 metal elemental spirit stones here. You can look for them while you chat. Those who find them can share the construction project with the Yi clan. Wow, this time the crowd couldn't help it. The construction project in Zhongshan district was a large-scale project that would take a few years. If it was completed, the total profit would exceed a few billion. This project was won by the Yi family. Who would have thought that they would be willing to cooperate and share with others? This was equivalent to giving away money. However, some people didn't have high hopes for this project. This was because the project was located in Tianhua City, and Tianhua City was now the target of public criticism. In 2 months, Tianhua City might be gone, so the risk was quite high. However, even if there was a risk, everyone knew that the experts from various cities in the country and the army were quickly replenishing Tianhua City. The city's defense was stricter than any other city in the past. Under such circumstances, it wouldn't be easy for monsters to attack Tianhua City. Little fairy, if we find it, can we work with the Yi clan on this project? Lin Xian turned to ask Linya. Linya shook her head slightly. No, we are too far behind the Yi clan. We don't have enough capital to work with them. At this time the door was pushed open. A little fatty walked in with a beautiful girl panting. Some people looked over, but didn't pay much attention. Wang Fugui held Lu Junjun's hand and bowed apologetically. Then, he saw Lin Xian and the others and quickly walked over. Who says it's not enough? Seeing Wang Fugui, Lin Xian smiled. Linya was slightly stunned, then shook her head. Forget it. Even if there is a way, there's no need. This is enough. I'm satisfied. Hearing Linya's words, Lin Xian nodded. Indeed, if this project was carried out, Linya might be even more tired. Lin Xian couldn't bear to do that. This was indeed enough. Moreover, this project might make a lot of money. But in the early stage, even if 6 companies worked together, each company would invest at least 500 million. The total market value of Linya's company was only 100 million. Even if they sold it, it wouldn't be enough. Older brother Xian. Wang Fugui gasped for breath. Beside him, Lu Junjun saw Lin Xian, Xiao Runing and the others and blushed slightly. Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. This girl was indeed not bad. Wang Fugui had finally found a good girl. Even Lin Xian was worried that he would find a mean and materialistic girl. Why are you so late? Don't mention it. I was scolded by my dad for a long time. But it's not important, hehe. At this time, someone said, since Chairman Yi has said so, then we must work hard to fight for the opportunity to cooperate with Chairman Yi. That's right, that's right. Your daughter is really beautiful today. This is a 100-year ice lotus that I specially searched for a few weeks to find. After consuming it, it will greatly enhance one's body. Take it as a birthday present for your daughter. A middle-aged man walked up with a jade box and handed it to Yi. Thank you, Uncle Lu. With the first person taking the lead, the others all began to present their gifts. This is a good piece of unpolished jade. If you wear it often, it can even nourish your yin and yang. This is a profound rank 1-star spirit weapon, Ocean Sword. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. Each and every one of these gifts was worth a lot of money. 100-year ice lotus, profound rank spirit weapon. This Yi family's face was even bigger than Lin Xian imagined. One gift after another was presented. Xiao Runing gave Yi a profound rank 5-star water martial skill. Wang Fugui and Lu Junjun's gifts were a one-time use flying spirit weapon and a relatively ordinary doll. Ling Ying's gift wasn't considered ordinary in comparison, but it was still relatively ordinary. It was a dagger, but if one knew how to use this dagger, it could instantly create a wormhole similar to space to attack. It was also her favorite attack method, because she really didn't know what to give Yi. A doll? That wasn't Ling Ying's style. Naturally, the ones who gave good things were those big families. However, Yi's friends didn't have the ability, so they naturally couldn't give good things. However, others didn't care about this because the nature was different. Those big families wanted to have a good relationship with the Yi family, while friends were simply friends giving their blessings. Yi, this is for you. Lu Yufan gave her doll to Yi, then smiled and said, there are 999 paper cranes inside that I personally folded. Yi revealed a happy smile. And I like it a lot. Yi, I'm going, Linya said to Lin Xian, and then walked up. What kind of gift did your sister give you? Xiao Runing asked curiously in advance. Guess. Lin Xian grinned. Che. Linya walked up and naturally attracted the attention of even more people. They were all curious about Linya's identity, because her temperament was too good. Sister Yaya. Yi happily and cautiously called out. Linya was still a little special to Yi. Linya then took out the box and handed it to Yi, smiling faintly. Happy birthday. I don't know what to give you, but this is what little Xian asked me to give you. There are 2 types of gene medicine that can permanently increase a martial artist's physique and spirit by 10 points. Hearing Linya's words, everyone was shocked. Are you serious? There's such a gene medicine? Permanently increasing a martial artist's attributes. This isn't something that can be done through technological means. Could it be a scam? For a moment, everyone looked at each other, expressing their disbelief because they had never heard of such a thing before. It was possible to increase a martial artist's attributes for a short period of time, just like taking drugs. However, permanently increasing a martial artist's attributes was another matter altogether. Yi didn't have any doubts and happily accepted it. Thank you, Sister Yaya. Linya rubbed Yi's hair and walked down. He didn't know this Linya at all. The gift she mentioned just now was already enough to shock him. Now that she was acting like she was close to Yi, as her father, he actually didn't know. Qin Xiaotian, on the other hand, frowned and then sneered. Lin Xian gave it. Could it be a fake? He probably couldn't take out anything good. So he was still pretending to be rich. After that, Qin Xiaotian took a small box and walked up. Qin Xiaotian would be paid special attention to in such an occasion. The Qin family was also an existence that was on par with the Yi family in Tianhua City. Yi, this is the necklace I bought for you a while ago. It's called Blue Ocean's Love. As he spoke, Qin Xiaotian opened the small box and took out an extremely beautiful light blue necklace. Chapter 227. One had to admit that this necklace was no ordinary item, just by looking at its appearance. It's the love of the blue ocean. I remember this love of the blue ocean was auctioned off in Tianjing City. It was bought by one person, the young master of the Qin family. This love of the blue ocean was auctioned off for 21 million. I didn't expect it to be auctioned off specifically for the young lady of the Yi family. The love of the blue ocean means love. The meaning is clear. Plus, the young master of the Qin family is indeed pursuing the young lady of the Yi family. They are of equal status. A handsome man and a beautiful woman. They are a good match. Yi Nantian naturally heard the news of Qin Xiaotian pursuing Yi. How should he put it? He was very satisfied with Qin Xiaotian. He was strong, had a strong family background, and was elegant. Today he was generous to Yi. He was a good choice. Thank you. Yi smiled politely and nodded. Although it was beautiful, it was a gift from Qin Xiaotian. She didn't feel anything. If it was from Lin Xian, she would be happier. Now, she only wanted to know what Lin Xian's gift was. Let me put it on for you. You don't have a necklace. This suits you very well. Qin Xiaotian smiled and said. Yi refused. No need. You can keep it first. Qin Xiaotian was stunned for a moment before nodding. Yi, if you like it, you can wear it. Yi Nantian looked at his precious daughter and smiled. Yi shook her head. No need. I don't usually wear jewelry anyway. Yi Nantian nodded slightly. Qin Xiaotian kept the necklace and gave it to Yi. Then he walked off. He clenched his fists tightly. Why? Why was he so considerate to Yi? But she didn't appreciate it. Logically speaking, she should have agreed to wear it. Was it because she rarely wore jewelry and wasn't used to it? Go ahead. I also want to see what you are giving Yi. Xiao Runing looked at Lin Xian and smiled. Previously, when Linya gave Yi a gift, Xiao Runing was also very surprised, but she also understood that it couldn't be fake. Then where did Lin Xian get this thing that even she didn't know what it was? Then, Lin Xian walked up and took out the small box that he had bought for a few dozen yuan. Here. Yi took it, her face red. Thank you. Happy birthday. Lin Xian said with a smile. Yes, thank you. After saying that, Lin Xian was about to walk down. Lin Xian, aren't you going to tell everyone what's inside? Qin Xiaotian asked. It was up to him whether or not he wanted to tell her, but he could choose not to tell her. However, Qin Xiaotian believed that since Lin Xian didn't say what was inside the box, it couldn't be anything good. It was a good opportunity to humiliate Lin Xian and let Yi feel the difference between her and Lin Xian. Lin Xian paused for a moment, then looked at Qin Xiaotian with a smile and said, Is it necessary to tell everyone what the gift is? A man beside Qin Xiaotian laughed and said, I think it's quite necessary. They treat us as friends. If they give us something worthless and trash, it won't be good if the gifts are piled up together, and we don't know what they are. Yi Nantian waved his hand and said, Why are there so many rules? It doesn't matter if the gift is expensive or cheap. It's the thought that counts. Lin Xian said, But this brother has a point. Then Lin Xian turned to Yi and said, This is an attribute increasing potion. It can permanently increase a cultivator's attribute purity by 10% to 30%. Everyone was stunned by Lin Xian's words. Then they burst into laughter. What? There's such a potion? That's ridiculous. Who doesn't know that the only way to increase a cultivator's attribute purity is to cultivate and absorb powerful spiritual treasures? How can a man-made potion increase a cultivator's attribute purity forever? How is that possible? Yeah, even if it's not a good gift, it can't be a lie. Everyone was discussing. Of course, they weren't on Qin Xiaotian's side. They were just expressing their own opinions, because it was true that it didn't exist. Now that Lin Xian said it out loud, how could they believe it? Yi Nantian frowned. He knew that it didn't exist, so he didn't believe it either. However, he didn't want to expose it in front of everyone, because it would embarrass everyone. Why is everyone laughing? Linya didn't quite understand, so she asked Xiao Runing who was next to her. Xiao Runing said helplessly, Because what Lin Xian said is something that no one can create. In other words, it's something that doesn't exist. How can such a precious thing be permanently increased by potions? But Lin Xian isn't the kind of person who would lie. Linya didn't believe that Lin Xian would lie for the sake of his reputation. Linya knew that Lin Xian had some very strange things on him. And it was the same with the previous experience fruit. She believed in Lin Xian. However, Ling Ying, who was beside him, was also slightly stunned. Was it true? He was skeptical. He doubted it because he had never seen such a thing before. Permanently increasing one's attribute purity? Even 1% would be good, let alone 30%. How many heavenly treasures would it take to increase it? However, Ling Ying believed it because she had seen it on Lin Xian. It was impossible. Her 4-star rank had been raised because she had sex with Lin Xian for no reason. Qin Xiaotian laughed out loud when he heard Lin Xian's words. It would be fine if he said it was something worthless. However, it sounded like a fantasy story. He was digging a hole for himself. Because this was indeed impossible. Lin Xian, as we all know, permanently increasing one's attribute purity through potions is impossible. No, it's impossible even for a short period of time. Also, the other lady's gift was given by you. Permanently increasing a martial artist's physique and mental power can only be done through heavenly treasures. It's impossible with technology. Do you think we don't know that? Qin Xiaotian looked at Lin Xian as he spoke. As we all know, yes. However, what if it's not known? What if it's just that you're ignorant and don't know about such a thing? In that case, why are you so certain that I am deceiving Yi and everyone else? Lin Xian sneered. Ha ha ha. Qin Xiaotian couldn't help but laugh. Lin Xian, I'm only saying this because I can't stand your despicable behavior. As for what I've said, I'm sure everyone here knows whether it's true or not. Qin Xiaotian said to Lin Xian after glancing at the crowd. Chapter 228. Although Lin Xian was the target of public criticism, he didn't panic at all because he knew whether it was true or not. Yi gently tugged at Lin Xian's sleeve. Of course, she believed that Lin Xian wouldn't lie to her. However, being criticized by so many people, Yi felt sorry for Lin Xian. This is too much. You can't say that when you've never seen these people before. Lu Yufan pouted and said unhappily, "That's normal. They're all waiting to be exposed, so that they can curry favor with the Yi clan." Ling Ying walked over and said, "Although I've never heard of such a thing, if Brother Xian says so, then so be it. Brother Xian is definitely not that kind of person. He even saved Junjun's father. Before that, all the experts in China couldn't cure him. So anything that is impossible with Brother Xian is possible." Wang Fugui said. Lu Junjun nodded. At this time Lin Xian said, "Then what do you guys want to do?" Qin Xiaotian said, "It's simple. Didn't you say that it can be improved? Let Yi try it on the spot. We'll know if it's true or not." Yi Nantian frowned. Although he didn't like Lin Xian, and thought that Yi Yi's friend wasn't a good person, it wasn't appropriate to expose him on the spot. It would make things awkward. "That's right. Let's try it on the spot. We want to broaden our horizons too." "Ha ha ha, I want to broaden my horizons too. That's right. Let's give it a try. If it's true, let's not talk about 30%. Even if it's only 10%, its value is unimaginable. I'm afraid that all the things here combined won't be worth as much as it. How can it be true?" Everyone couldn't help but ridicule. That's right. Permanently increasing a martial artist's attribute purity was equivalent to increasing a martial artist's combat power and talent. Moreover, it was permanent. Those accessories, spiritual tools, and so on, could not compare to this kind of improvement at all. Everything else was external, but the increase in attribute purity was internal. Yi Nantian couldn't do anything about it. Besides, it would be good for Yi Yi to see the true face of her friend. Lin Xian. Yi looked at Lin Xian apologetically. "I'm fine." Lin Xian smiled, then looked at the crowd and said, "It doesn't matter if you haven't seen it before, but I hope that if you haven't seen it before, you won't think it's impossible. That will make you look stupid and short-sighted. Of course, don't misunderstand. I'm just giving you a suggestion." Then Lin Xian looked at Yi Nantian and asked, "Mr. Yi, I think you know Yi's attribute purity very well, right?" Yi Nantian nodded. Then, Lin Xian opened the box and took out the attribute increasing potion in front of everyone. "Yi, give me your hand." Yi didn't hesitate to give her hand to Lin Xian. She trusted Lin Xian. Yi Nantian frowned. As Yi Yi's father, how could he not see that his daughter's attitude towards the young man was completely different from the others? But that potion couldn't be something bad, right? That was impossible, and he wouldn't have the guts to do it. Then, Lin Xian poured the potion on Yi Yi's arm in front of everyone and said, "Your God's child system will send you an attribute selection. You are of the water attribute, so just choose the water attribute." "Okay." Then Yi Yi closed her eyes. "Pff," Qin Xiaotian sneered. "Are you still pretending to be a wolf?" Linya, Xiao Runing, Ling Ying, and the others were also very worried as they looked ahead. Although they believed in Lin Xian, it was still a bit too far-fetched. They could only hope that it would work. A light blue light wrapped around Yi Yi's arm and slowly entered Yi Yi's body. Seeing this scene and feeling the water element, they all felt that it was unbelievable. But they still didn't believe that it could increase the purity of a martial artist's attributes. They only thought that it was the water element, but whether it could be increased was another matter. 10 seconds later, Yi Yi opened her eyes, and there was a glint in her eyes. "How much?" Lin Xian asked. 25%. Tisk tsk tsk. You are quite lucky. Done. Yi Nantian frowned and asked. Lin Xian nodded. That's right. Next, Yi will release a water element energy. Director Yi can feel it. Yi, release a water ball to attack me, Yi Nantian said to Yi Yi. Because this way, he could better feel the changes in Yi Yi's strength. Okay. Yi Yi then impatiently released a water ball and shot it over. Yi Nantian raised his hand to block it, and the water ball scattered. Then, he revealed a shocked expression. Yi Yi's attribute purity was only increased by a few %, so he couldn't feel it. However, Yi Yi's attribute purity was increased by 25%. As a superior cultivator, Yi Nantian could easily feel the change in Yi Yi's attributes. Another one, Yi Tianen quickly said. This scene made Qin Xiaotian frown. Oh! Yi Yi then released another water ball. After blocking it, Yi Nantian took a deep breath. Director Yi, were you tricked? Someone asked. Yi Nantian then said. Yi's water element purity was originally around 70%, but now it's over 90%. What? Everyone was stunned. Lin Xian nodded with satisfaction. As long as Yi Yi cultivated seriously, even if it was water element, this 90% purity would definitely crush other elements of the same element. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Qin Xiaoyan's face suddenly changed. His face was full of disbelief. I can still tell the difference between the real and the fake. Yi Nantian also felt that it was inconceivable. An increase of 20% was equivalent to absorbing a spirit item of the heavens and earth to achieve such an increase. However, because of a potion, Lin Xian then glanced at everyone and said, Then, do we still want to try the vitality and mental gene potions? Everyone looked at each other. Then Yi Nantian looked at Lin Xian and said, There's no need to try it now. Young man, thank you for giving me this gift. For a cultivator, their own improvement is the most important thing. And it is such a huge improvement. I didn't believe you before, and I apologize for that. Yi Nantian bowed to Lin Xian. It wasn't that he was humble, but he saw the extraordinary side of Lin Xian. To be able to take out something like this, and even give it to someone. What kind of person was he? It was unbelievable. What did it prove? It proved that it was in his hands, and it wasn't rare. Otherwise, why would he give it away? What kind of uproar would it cause if it was spread out? Unimaginable. This was a treasure that could make the entire planet Aqua Blue go crazy. He knew too well what Lin Xian meant. It meant that as long as he wanted to, he could create countless high-quality cultivators. It could even make a family's quality soar. It was priceless. Lin Xian's lips curved up slightly. Chapter 229. With Yi Nantian's words, everyone was even more shocked. It was actually true. They didn't just say it to suck up to the Yi clan. They really believed that it was impossible for such a thing to exist. But now, Yi Tiannan's words in reality had slapped them in the face. Especially Qin Xiaotian. As the one who humiliated Lin Xian the most, he was also the one who was slapped in the face the most. However, he couldn't understand how such a thing could exist. It was impossible. He knew too well what it meant to be able to casually increase a person's attribute purity by so much. A martial artist might not have the chance to absorb the power of a heaven and earth spirit object in their lifetime. So it was impossible to increase their attribute purity. How exaggerated was it to increase an attribute purity by more than 20%? Perhaps some big clans would even be willing to spend half of their fortune to exchange for such a thing for their young master or daughter. Because an increase of 20% could even allow a genius's attribute purity to reach the impossible 100%. In the future, as long as they grew up, they would become an absolute powerhouse. It was a temporary loss, but it could be exchanged for countless times in the future. Young Master Qin, what else do you want to say now? Lin Xian glanced at Qin Xiaotian and sneered in his heart. This be asterisk starred, he was pretending. Qin Xiaotian's face darkened. Then he pretended to be calm and said, I was blind. I didn't expect such a thing to exist. Lin Xian coldly said, So please don't talk nonsense when you don't know. Otherwise, you'll really be like a self-satisfied clown. Don't you think so? Ka ka ka. Qin Xiaotian clenched his fists tightly, gritted his teeth, and squeezed out the words from between his teeth. That's right. Ha ha ha, but it's reasonable. After all, you're not too old. It's normal that you don't know much. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Qin Xiaotian couldn't hold it in anymore. He wanted to kill him. He must kill him. And Lin Xian's words made the faces of those who ridiculed Lin Xian turn ugly. They felt that although Lin Xian was talking to Qin Xiaotian, he was also talking to them. But what could they do? Could it be that what he said was wrong? Weren't they the same? They were looking for trouble. If they hadn't chosen to taunt Lin Xian back then, they wouldn't have such an expression now. It could only be said that he brought it upon himself. That bastard. When Ling Ying heard Lin Xian's words, she felt helpless. However, she still smiled because she felt extremely relieved. In Yi Nantian's mind, Lin Xian was a priceless treasure. If the Yi family could establish a good relationship with Lin Xian, then the Yi family would gain unimaginable benefits. In the current era, the strong were respected. Of course, having money was important, but compared to the overall strength, money was not important at all. In fact, if Yi liked Lin Xian, Yi Nantian would agree to the marriage without hesitation, because Lin Xian was too important. However, in Yi Nantian's eyes, Qin Xiaotian and Lin Xian were as different as heaven and earth. Qin Xiaotian had become nothing. Even if the Yi family and the Qin family had a marriage, what would they gain? They would only gain the power of the Qin family. However, if they could establish a good relationship with Lin Xian, then the Yi family would rise. Maybe they would not only have a foothold in Tianhua City, but also in Tiandu. That was the value of Lin Xian. Of course, he liked Lin Xian, but only if Yi liked him. The Yi family didn't lack anything. His daughter's happiness was the most important thing. However, when he saw the way Yi looked at Lin Xian, he understood something. It was impossible for his daughter to look at a man like that. She liked Lin Xian. Since Lin Xian gave Yi such a precious thing, it meant that he liked his daughter too. That was good news. At the same time, Yi Nantian suddenly realized something. Young man, you're Lin Xian? Lin Xian nodded. You're that Lin Xian who saved the 40 people of the Sky Martial Court in Yi? Yi Nantian said in shock. He didn't care about Lin Xian before, so he didn't know much about him. However, when he recalled how Yi called Lin Xian's name, he suddenly realized something. This Lin Xian not only had such a heaven-defying item, but he also had the spatial attribute and saved Yi's life. Yi Nantian actually looked down on him. He even felt that he wasn't a man at all. Not only did he not thank him personally, he even looked down on him. Lin Xian nodded. You're that Lin Xian. At that moment, a middle-aged man hurried over and said, I'm He Dahai, He Xiang's father. Thank you for saving my son. I wanted to thank you personally, but my son said you didn't want to do that, so I didn't. I didn't expect to see you here. Thank you very much. After he finished speaking, another man came over with a beautiful woman. Thank you very much. I'm Zhao Cici's father, Zhaoan. You saved my daughter too. I'm Lu Yufan's mother. You saved her too. At that moment, no less than 5 families came over to thank Lin Xian. Lu Yufan's family also came. Lin Xian had expected this. It's my duty. Lin Xian scratched his head. Lu Yufan's father held Lin Xian's hand and said gratefully, Thank you very much. If it wasn't for you, Fan would have been in deep trouble. We didn't believe you just now, so we want to apologize to you properly. Dad. Lu Yufan walked over. Lu Yun hurriedly said, Fan, Lin Xian is your friend. Why didn't you tell me? I haven't thanked him properly for saving my life. Lin Xian said he didn't want us to tell our family. Lu Yufan said softly, Sai, it's our fault. But since we met Lin Xian, please accept our gratitude. As he spoke, Lu Yun took out a card and handed it to Lin Xian saying, I don't know what else to give you, so I can only give you this. Don't blame me for being tacky. If there's anything I, Lu Yun, can help you with in the future, feel free to ask. Yeah, there's nothing more important than our child. Feel free to ask. The other families all said. This made Lin Xian a little embarrassed. However, he clenched his fists tightly. He had been ridiculed in the beginning, but now he had become a hot steamed bun in everyone's eyes. Didn't he just save a few people? What's the big deal? If he was there, he would be the one who saved them. That was how he comforted himself. He was just lucky. I hope that all of you who ridiculed Lin Xian can apologize to him with me right now. Yi Nantian spoke at this moment. Chapter 230. Normally speaking, how could a person of such status apologize to a young man? However, Yi Nantian only said that to show his sincerity to Lin Xian. As the head of the Yi clan, he had taken the lead in apologizing. Wasn't that enough? Because Lin Xian was too important to Yi Nantian. Young Master Lin, we were blind just now. Please forgive us. That's right. We didn't know you were the young man who saved so many people. Otherwise, we would have believed you. This is just a small token of our appreciation. Please accept it." With Yi Nantian taking the lead, everyone apologized to Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't need them to do anything else. An apology was enough. "I appreciate everyone's apologies. As for these cards," Lin Xian coughed dryly. "Please accept it. Otherwise, we won't be able to rest easy." People with high social status would always carry a card with a password written on it. They were prepared for special situations like this. Although many of them didn't want to give it to Lin Xian, with so many of them taking the lead and Yi Nantian watching, those who weren't as powerful as Yi Nantian had to show a good attitude to Lin Xian. Lin Xian would be an idiot if he didn't accept the money. He was just pretending. "Since it's a token of your appreciation, I would be letting you down if I don't accept it. Take it one by one." Linging. Xiao Runing. This kid. Xiao Runing couldn't help but laugh as she watched Lin Xian take the cards one by one. This kid even took Fan Fan's father's card. He even took Yi's father's card. Lin Yi scolded. Xiao Runing smiled. "It doesn't matter. This amount of money is nothing to them. Besides, they do owe Lin Xian, don't they? Otherwise, Yi and Fan Fan will die." Xiao Runing also owed Lin Xian her life, but she gave Lin Xian a relatively powerful Earth-tier martial skill, which could be considered as making up for it a little. As for Ling Ying, she really didn't give Lin Xian any material compensation. She had put herself in danger, and now she was being bullied by Lin Xian every day. Very quickly, Lin Xian received a stack of cards. These were cards, not banknotes. If the cards were counted as stacks, then these were probably close to 10 million yuan. This was more profitable than doing business. Lin Xian put all the cards into his spatial ring and greeted the others with a smile, looking very easygoing. Then his gaze fell on Qin Xiaotian. Qin Xiaotian frowned and suddenly had a bad feeling. Right now, Qin Xiaotian was the root of all this in everyone's eyes. If he hadn't taken the lead to question Lin Xian, they wouldn't have followed suit, causing them to suffer a double loss. However, they all remembered it in their hearts, and Qin Xiaotian also knew what kind of situation he was in. Lin Xian was right, he was now like a clown. "Young Master Qin, we are of the same generation, so I won't say anything more to you. As for an apology gift, or anything like that, there's no need for it." Lin Xian purposely emphasized the words apology gift. For a moment, everyone's gaze fell on Qin Xiaotian. Qin Xiaotian secretly clenched his fists, but his face maintained a gentlemanly smile. No. I should have trusted young Master Lin Xian. It was my questioning that led to this farce, so I should take most of the responsibility, so I still need an apology gift." Then Qin Xiaotian took out a card and handed it to Lin Xian, saying, "Please accept it, young Master Lin." Giving an apology gift to Lin Xian was definitely the best choice. If he gave it, others would think that he could afford to lose, which would be more in line with the style of a gentleman. If he didn't give it to Lin Xian, it would make Yi Nantian and the others unhappy. This time Qin Xiaotian had lost. He should have thought of it earlier. Lin Xian and Yi were so close, so how could he give her something fake? Most importantly, the attribute genetic medicine that Lin Xian mentioned did not exist in this world, because it couldn't be made. Even if you had a spiritual item of heaven and earth, you couldn't extract the spiritual energy of the spiritual item of heaven and earth to make it. It could only be absorbed on the spot. That was why he couldn't understand. Was it because he was ignorant or something else? Zhang Tian, who was watching this scene from afar, felt that he was right. No wonder that Lin Xian could be regarded as an enemy by Qin Xiaotian. It turned out that he could really suppress Qin Xiaotian. Qin Xiaotian was a ruthless person. One had to know that Zhang Tian wasn't someone easy to deal with either. However, in this aspect, he truly felt that there weren't many people in Tianhua City who could compare to Qin Xiaotian. Yet, Lin Xian was able to crush him and force him to pay up. He even had to admit his mistake. "Then I won't be unreasonable." Lin Xian smiled and took Qin Xiaotian's card. At this time, Yi Nantian laughed and said, "Ha, all right. This blunder ends here. However, it's not like we didn't gain anything. It opened our eyes to know that this kind of technology still exists in this world. Furthermore, we were able to meet the savior of your children. Not bad. Now let's eat and drink well. Remember, there are still 5 crystals left. After that, everyone dispersed. Most of them stayed far away from Lin Xian, afraid that they would be tricked by this bastard again. Yi Yi walked down happily and said gratefully, Lin Xian, thank you. My water attribute is much stronger now. I can cultivate better now. No problem. I also received quite a bit of reward. Lin Xian grinned. Although the reward couldn't be compared to the true value of the medicine, Lin Xian didn't expect to earn tens of millions before this. Okay. You and Fan Fan eat first. I'll go entertain the others. Go. Lin Xian, I want one too. Lu Yufan came to Lin Xian's side and muttered in a low voice. Her parents had gone to chat with the others. Originally, they wanted to come over and establish a good relationship with Lin Xian. However, when they saw Yi Yi talking to Lin Xian, they decided to wait for a chance. What do you want? The medicine you gave to Yi. I want it too. Lu Yufan pouted. She didn't even have a girlfriend. What the F***ck do you want? Do you think you can buy it for 30 cents on the street? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Wah! Lin Xian, you bastard. I'm your girlfriend. You won't even give it to me. Lin Xian couldn't help but laugh in his heart. Then he said, I'll give it to you on your birthday. F***ck. Lu Yufan was unhappy. Her birthday was still 10 months away. He just didn't want to give it to her. She was already Lin Xian's girlfriend. But she couldn't compare to Yi Yi. As expected, Lin Xian liked Yi Yi more. Lin Xian, you big jerk. Lu Yufan said angrily. The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. He then looked at her in a low voice and said with an evil smile. Actually, I can give it to you. Let's get a room after tonight. I'll give you one tomorrow morning, okay? Chapter 231. Lu Yufan was slightly stunned at first. Then her little face was dyed with a layer of red. She lifted her foot and stepped on Lin Xian. Stinky hooligan. After saying that, she ran away shyly. Damn. Why do women all know how to step on people's feet? Lin Xian said helplessly. It's because the girl likes you. And generally speaking, the relationship between the two of you is very good. Xiao Runing's voice sounded. Lin Xian turned around and saw Xiao Runing, Lingya, and Linging walking over. What? How did you know? I'm a girl. How can I not understand a girl's thoughts? Xiao Runing said to Lin Xian with a smile. Linging blushed. What did she mean? She was often angered by Lin Xian, and would step on Lin Xian's feet. This meant that she liked Lin Xian too. It was exposed. What? You're a girl? Lu Yufan, Yi Yi can be called a girl. Miss Xiao, you should be called a girl. Xiao Runing. Get lost. I'm a girl too. Xiao Runing glared at Lin Xian, then dragged Lingya into the water. So you're saying that you also call your sister a girl? This? Lin Xian was stumped by Xiao Runing's question. Then Lin Xian thought of something and said, My little fairy is a virgin, so she can also be called a girl. This old lady is also a virgin. Then why don't you call me that? Lin Xian. Okay. I was wrong. Xiao Runing smiled and said, That's right. In this era, you guys should address women as girls. It's polite. Alright. You're awesome. Everything you say is right. Xiao Runing. She always felt that Lin Xian's perfunctory attitude made her want to hit him. But Fan, that girl is also not bad. Since she has a good impression of you, don't you plan to find a girlfriend? Xiao Runing said with a smile. Your sister also likes her. Lingya nodded. Little did they know that she was Lin Xian's girlfriend, and so was the person standing beside them. I don't care. I want to spend the rest of my life with my little fairy. Lin Xian said with a grin. It had to be said that Lingya's beautiful face immediately turned red when she heard these words in front of everyone. Even her heart was trembling, because the relationship between the two of them was indeed different. Xiao Runing was slightly taken aback. Then, she looked at Lingya and said, Did you hear that? You have to be careful of this bastard at home. He might have designs on you. Xiao Runing knew that they were not biological siblings, In fact, Lin Xian had designs on Linya. Linya nodded slightly. All right. Xiao Runing thought of something and asked, "What's up with that gene medicine of yours?" Ling Ying also looked at Lin Xian with interest. If he could raise her dark element to another level, it would definitely be of great help to him. This kind of thing had to be kept a secret from them. After all, it involved the scumbag system. Last night, when I was walking on the road, I met an old man selling pirated discs. He saw that my bones were strange, and took the initiative to talk to me. Then he sold this thing to me for 100 yuan. I thought it was fake, but I didn't expect it to be real. That old man is definitely a hermit expert. Like hell I'll believe you. Xiao Runing rolled her eyes. Hee, don't think about it, I don't have it anymore. Seeing that Lin Xian did not want to say, they did not ask anymore. Indeed, this kind of thing was too rare. No, to be precise, Qin Xiaotian, and the rest were right. They had never seen or even heard of such a thing. However, Lin Xian took it out. But when he said that he did not have it, they actually believed him. This gene medicine was worth 5 million scumbag points. To be honest, it was not a lot, but it was definitely not a small amount. Lin Xian did not want to give one to every person he met. For example, Xiao Runing. She had not become his woman yet, so she should forget about it. Ling Ying, Lin Xian, and Lin Yu would give it to her. They were all his women. If he did not give it to them, who else would he give it to? At the same time, they had contributed tens of millions of scumbag points to Lin Xian. As for Xiao Runing, he would give it to her after she became his woman. If she did not become his woman, then she should forget about it. Keep the goodies within the family. Everyone was looking for the crystal. After all, one crystal meant that they would be able to cooperate with the Yi clan. Lin Xian suddenly thought of a way to get rich. Little fairy, take these cards. Watch how I make money for you. Lin Xian reached out his hand, and a stack of cards appeared in his hand. He then stuffed them into Linya's bag and walked away. Lin Xian's eye of cave spirit was activated. He could sense the fluctuation of spiritual energy in the surroundings. Since it was a crystal, then the spiritual energy would definitely spread out in all directions. As expected, the positions of all 5 crystals were clearly seen by Lin Xian's eye of cave spirit. What is he doing? Xiao Runing looked at Lin Xian's figure suspiciously. Then she saw him touch the floor of a chair, and took out a yellow crystal. The 3 girls. Lin Xian then continued to walk around the room. The second crystal, the third crystal, Yi Nantian saw it all. He opened his eyes wide. What's going on? Why is Lin Xian so accurate? It's as if he knows where the crystals are. Did someone tell him? That's impossible. He hid them himself. He was the only one who knew the exact location. It was impossible for someone to tell him. Yet he found them all just like that. Is he a god? Could it be that he told Lin Xian where the crystals are? Ling Ying guessed. That's possible. But Aya, do you plan to cooperate with the Yi clan? Ling Yu was also confused. She then shook her head. No, I don't have the capital. Then how is he going to make money? Ahem. At this time, Lin Xian walked to the microphone on the stage and coughed. Everyone stopped talking. Ladies and gentlemen, I have something important to tell you. Yi Nantian's mouth twitched. He saw Lin Xian secretly find 5 crystals with his own eyes. They were all in his hands now. Everyone's eyes turned to him. Lin Xian spread his hands and said, I'm lucky. I found all 5 crystals. Mr. Yi, do you think these are the 5 crystals? Yi Nantian nodded. Everyone was in an uproar. One person found 5 crystals? It must be the Yi clan who told him the location. But they still had to pretend to be shocked and impressed. But they couldn't accept it. But I don't have much money. I don't have enough to support the cooperation with the Yi clan. So I plan to sell these 5 crystals to everyone. Wow. Everyone was surprised when they heard Lin Xian's words. There's still a chance. If they could spend some money to get this cooperation opportunity, they could earn hundreds of millions. That's not a loss at all. Okay, these 5 crystals are 10 million each. First come, first serve. Chapter 232. Hearing Lin Xian's words, Yi Nantian felt helpless. F***ck. This was supposed to be free of charge. Yet he turned it into a transaction. This kid's brain is not simple at all. It was equivalent to earning 50 million for nothing. He didn't have to do anything, and he found the crystal without any pressure. Lin Xian thought that this cooperation was risky. Otherwise, he would have to cooperate even if he had to borrow money from Wang Fuguei. Plus, Lin would be very tired, so he might as well sell it for 50 million for nothing. How comfortable would that be? In an instant, everyone rushed over to fight for the crystal. For crystals were swept away, and there was only one left. Lin Xian saw Lu Yun who couldn't rush over, so he walked down and placed it in the hands of Lu Yufan's father. "Uncle, this is for you." Lu Yun was surprised and quickly took out his card. Lin Xian shook his head. "No need." Then Lin Xian whispered in his ear, "Just give me your daughter." After that, Lin Xian walked away with a smile. Lu Yun was dumbfounded. Did he take a fancy to my daughter? Then he revealed a surprised expression. That was great news for the Lu family. Lin Xian didn't want his money because of his special relationship with Lu Yufan. In addition, this project would take 2 years. If Tianhua City fell into the enemy's hands, everything would be gone. Therefore, he might not be able to make any money. Therefore, he didn't want him to lose any more money. 40 million was more than enough. Lin Yu was stunned by this scene. "Little fairy, keep it well. This is my wife's money. I will use it when I get married in the future." Lin Xian placed the 40 million card in Lin Ye's hand and smiled. Lin Ye nodded slightly. She felt that it was a bit strange to earn tens of millions just like that. Her company had to run for a year to earn so much. Yinantian was helpless. This birthday party had forcefully become a place for Lin Xian to earn money. What could he do? He was also in despair. But at the same time, he liked Lin Xian even more. He was a genius. That's right. The party ended very quickly. Yi Yi sent them to the car and drove off. Xiao Runing drove Ling Ying home. Lu Yufan went back with her parents. Lin Xian and Lin Yu went back directly. Driving on the less crowded road, Lin Xian lay in the passenger seat and hummed. "Little fairy, do you admire me?" Lin Xian asked with a smile. "I'm impressed, okay?" So perfunctory. Lin Xian then placed his large hand on Lin Ye's thigh and rubbed it. Lin Ye's delicate body suddenly trembled. "Don't." She quickly placed a hand on the back of Lin Xian's hand. "Little fairy, tonight. Can you do what you did that morning?" Cough cough that. Lin Ye's little face was completely red. "No. You promised me that you'll only do it that time." "I said once a day. I didn't say once in a lifetime." "Lin Ye. Hee hee, if you don't say anything, I'll take it as a yes." "Also, little fairy, you're so beautiful today." Lin Xian laughed mischievously. Lin Ye was naturally dressed elegantly for today's party. She looked so beautiful with just a little makeup. Lin Xian really had the urge to push her down tonight. After being served by Ling Ying for so long, Lin Xian couldn't hold it in anymore during her special period. So tonight, Lin Xian wanted to see if he could push Lin Ye down. Even if he couldn't, he wanted to do it like that morning. Lin Ye really felt like she was being bullied to death by Lin Xian. But every time it happened, she couldn't reject him. The car stopped at a red light. In this era, at this time, there weren't many cars on the road. Lin Ye was the only car waiting at a red light. Lin Ye's little face was red. With one hand on the steering wheel, she used the other to stop Lin Xian's hand that kept trying to reach under her skirt. She was so embarrassed. Lin Xian kept trying to reach under her skirt, but Lin Ye was very stubborn and refused to give in. Beep beep beep. After the car stopped at a red light, Lin Xian vaguely heard a strange sound. He didn't pay attention to it for a few seconds, thinking that it was some kind of device in the car. But later, the sound continued to come out in a regular pattern. Lin Xian immediately let go of his hand and released his spiritual power, increasing his hearing by several times. The sound became louder, and Lin Xian was sure that it was in the car. "Let's go." Lin Xian grabbed Lin Ye's little hand and backhanded Lin Ye's bag. Then he released the power of space. The two figures disappeared from the car in an instant, then appeared by the side of the road. "What's wrong?" Lin Ye looked at Lin Xian with a puzzled expression. Not even a second after she asked that question, there was a sudden explosion in front of them. Boom! Their car was instantly destroyed, and the ruins were burning. Ah! Linya screamed and subconsciously hugged Lin Xian with her back, protecting Lin Xian behind her. This scene stunned Lin Xian, and at the same time, he was touched. When a girl encountered something like this again, shouldn't she hide behind a guy? But her first reaction was to protect Lin Xian. For a girl like this, if Lin Xian didn't love her and protect her, was there any justice left? Feeling Linya's delicate body trembling slightly, Lin Xian knew that she was also afraid. Lin Xian gently patted Linya's back to comfort her, and at the same time, he clenched his fists tightly. Qin Xiaotian. This must have been Qin Xiaotian's doing after being humiliated by the party. At this moment, a car calmly drove past their destroyed car, and at the same time, the car window slowly rolled down. A person's mouth curled up, and he left with a cold smile. Lin Xian saw that person. He saw that cold smile, and he saw the side of that person's face. It wasn't Qin Xiaotian. It must be one of his people. But now Lin Xian couldn't chase after him, because Linya was beside him. Linya was everything. Let's go home first. Lin Xian held Linya's hand. What's going on? Linya looked at Lin Xian worriedly. Lin Xian gently squeezed Linya's small hand and said, "It's probably targeting me. That's why I asked you to carry the Ice Spirit Snow Pearl with you, because I was worried that they would attack you. Did you get into any trouble outside?" Linya wasn't worried about herself, but she was worried about Lin Xian. "Don't worry, I'll take care of it as soon as possible. Let's go home first." Then Lin Xian brought Linya home. Wait. Just as Linya was about to open the door, Lin Xian stopped her, and then asked Linya to step back. Then, Lin Xian released the space attribute and entered the house. F***ck your mother. Lin Xian cursed. One end of the bomb was connected to the door. As long as the door was opened and pulled, it would detonate immediately. Luckily he was careful. Then Lin Xian removed the bomb. This kind of bomb was easy to remove, as long as he didn't touch the string. Suddenly, Lin Xian's mind moved, and he clenched his fists tightly. Chapter 233. Lin Xian was releasing all his spiritual power to enhance his divine sense. He heard a commotion coming from downstairs. Lin Xian quickly went to Linya and whispered, "Go home first. Don't come out. Don't turn on the lights." After saying that, Lin Xian sent Linya home, and disappeared on the spot once again. Linya was scared. She was worried for Lin Xian. She didn't know what trouble Lin Xian had gotten himself into outside to kill them. She could only pray for Lin Xian. In a corner downstairs, a figure stood there as if waiting for something. He looked at his watch. That shouldn't be the case. It should have exploded. What are you waiting for? Lin Xian's cold voice suddenly came from behind him. The person's body trembled, and a blue thunderbolt shot toward Lin Xian. Sizzle, Lin Xian reached out his hand. The blue thunderbolt turned into nothingness when it touched his palm. Tisk, Lin Xian sneered. I was wondering who it was. It's you. Lin Xian clenched his fists and looked at Jiang Tianhao. It was him. No wonder. This wasn't Qin Xiaotian's style. If it was Jiang Tianhao, then it made sense. Jiang Tianhao frowned. What was going on? He blocked his thunderbolt. Lin Xian, you're lucky to have escaped death this time. But don't worry. There's always a second time and a third time. Even if you don't die, your sister will die. Jiang Tianhao's face was ferocious. I can't kill you, but I can kill you with a sneak attack. Remember, be careful next time. Your sister might die at any time. Ha ha ha. With that, Jiang Tianhao let out a loud laugh and fled towards the horizon. Umph. Lin Xian smirked and muttered. Looks like you've been in this hospital for too long. You don't know what's going on outside. Lin Xian reached out his hand. Spatial imprisonment. What? Jiang Tianhao suddenly realized that he couldn't run anymore, and revealed a shocked expression. Lin Xian walked over step by step. Let me tell you, I'm currently at the 6th star of the arcane body stage, while you're still at the 1st star. What? Arcane body stage 6 stars. Jiang Tianhao was flabbergasted. His eyes widened in shock. The first thing he did after leaving the hospital was to take revenge. He didn't expect to kill Lin Xian, but killing his sister would be enough to vent his anger. He didn't even bother to investigate Lin Xian. The main thing was that he didn't expect that in such a short time, Lin Xian, who was only 1 star of the arcane body realm, would be able to advance to 6 stars. If he had known, he wouldn't have shown himself even if he made a move. As for Lin Xian, who was at the 6th star of the arcane body realm, if he released the spatial attribute, he could even directly kill him. Lin Xian took out his bomb, released the power of space, and threw it into the space that imprisoned Jiang Tianhao. Spatial compression. Boom. The bomb was crushed, and the space exploded. Jiang Tianhao's corpse was nowhere to be found. You're asking for it, Lin Xian said coldly, turned around and left. There was no relief. Jiang Tianhao died, and he died very easily. That was because he didn't know that Lin Xian was at the 6th star of the arcane body realm. Only Ling Ying and Miao Xiaomiao knew about this. However, Lin Xian didn't feel relieved. Instead, he felt even more worried. If Qin Xiaotian wanted to make a move, it would be too easy for him to do what Jiang Tianhao did. Lin Xian might be able to release his power in time to block the explosion of the bomb, but Lin Yi couldn't. If that was the case, she wouldn't be safe even if she had the Ice Spirit Snow Pearl. This was a wake-up call for Lin Xian. Qin Xiaotian's matter must be resolved. Whoosh! A silver needle pierced through the air, and suddenly shot toward Lin Xian from behind. Lin Xian reacted quickly and leaped to dodge it. There's someone else. With a gust of wind under his feet, Lin Xian instantly rushed in the direction of the silver needle. The silhouette dashed into an empty patch of greenery in the dark night. Lin Xian stopped there as well. Since you've lured me here, come out, Lin Xian said coldly. Normally, he wouldn't care and wouldn't chase after him. However, Lin Xian felt a great sense of danger. As long as he encountered this person, he must eliminate him. Otherwise, there would be endless trouble. A figure slowly walked out from behind a tree. Since you know that I deliberately lured you here to kill you, why are you still chasing after me? He wore black clothes and a mask on his face. The corners of his mouth curled into a bloodthirsty sneer. Lin Xian released his eye of spiritual insight. 1 star of the arcane heaven realm. Crack. Lin Xian subconsciously clenched his fists. 1 star of the arcane heaven realm. 5 stars higher than him. At the same time, there was a gap of a whole realm. Normally it was impossible for him to fight. Lin Xian knew that too. However, to him, nothing was impossible. If he encountered this person, he must eliminate him. Because I want to kill you. Whoosh. Lin Xian stretched out his hand and grasped one xia, which was in the form of a light sword in his hand. You want to kill me with just an arcane body realm cultivation? The man laughed disdainfully. This wasn't Qin Xiaotian. However, he was definitely not with Jiang Tianhao. This was the second batch. In other words, there were 2 forces that wanted to kill him tonight. One was Jiang Tianhao, and the other must be Qin Xiaotian's men. I think I've seen you before, Lin Xian suddenly said with a sneer. The man frowned. Don't be nervous. I'm just kidding. Lin Xian sneered. You're courting death. How could Chu Haohan not be angry when he realized that he was being controlled by a weakling? He stretched out his hand, and a purple sword appeared in his palm. Then, he pierced through the air and charged toward Lin Xian. His speed was unimaginably fast. Lin Xian couldn't fight against him. Moreover, he hadn't even used his attribute power yet. Attribute exchange: agility, strength, physique, spirit. Lin Xian exchanged for the 4 attributes from the scumbag system without hesitation. Bang! The next moment the 2 swords collided. The powerful force instantly knocked down a few trees around them. Whoosh! Lin Xian jumped back and staggered a few steps. His right hand that was holding one xia trembled slightly. Then he clenched it tightly. Oh, your strength and speed have probably reached arcane body realm 8 stars. Fortunately, I intervened in time. If I gave you more time to grow, I'm afraid it would be difficult. Chu Haohan licked his lips. Qin Xiaotian's dog is so useless, Lin Xian said coldly. Qin Xiaotian? He's nothing. Chu Haohan sneered. Without absolute benefits, why would I care about him? Then I'll give you more benefits. I wonder if you can help me deal with Qin Xiaotian? Lin Xian asked coldly. You're not worthy. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Lightning began to surround Lin Xian's body. Purple lightning, what a pity. Whoosh! Lin Xian surrounded by lightning and charged forward. Ha! Lin Xian roared as he raised thousand evils with both hands and slashed down. Chi! Chu Haohan blocked it without hesitation. Ka ka ka! At this moment, the light sword Wan Xia turned into a heavy sword. At this moment, its strength increased tremendously. Boom! The night sky was illuminated by purple lightning. Chapter 234. Chu Haohan didn't expect Lin Xian to have such a move. Fortunately, his cultivation level was much higher than Lin Xian's, so he was only slightly shocked. Bang bang bang. Lin Xian's attacks were incomparably fierce. He dared to fight with this person, because Lin Xian had the confidence to deal with a one-star mystic heaven realm expert. However, it required the right time, place, and people. Lightning flash. One hand released lightning flash to attack Chu Haohan, while the other kept waving thousand evils. For a moment, Chu Haohan was actually suppressed. Purple lightning was an Earth-grade martial skill. Although there was a 5-star difference, Chu Haohan didn't dare to easily take on the power of an Earth-grade martial skill. You're courting death. Chu Haohan realized that he, a mystic heaven realm expert, was actually suppressed by Lin Xian, and was instantly enraged. The flames on his body burned, and turned into a fire dragon that charged at Lin Xian. Whoosh! In an instant, Lin Xian's figure disappeared in front of him. Instant shadow. Thousand lightning strike. Lin Xian's angry roar came from behind. Lightning surrounded thousand evils. Clenching both hands, the lightning pierced through the sky and slashed at Chu Haohan's back. Bang! Chu Haohan immediately turned around. The purple spiritual weapon blocked this terrifying attack, but due to the lack of time, he couldn't block it perfectly with all his strength. His figure blocked the attack on the ground while retreating rapidly. Purple lightning suddenly erupted and enveloped both of them. Chu Haohan also released the power of flames to resist it. 10,000 flames returned to origin. Chu Haohan roared angrily. The flames instantly engulfed the lightning and Lin Xian. In the next instant, Lin Xian appeared 10 meters away again. The clothes on his right arm were burnt and his skin was burnt, dripping with blood. It wasn't that his flames were powerful. The difference between flames and lightning was huge, but he was strong in his realm. Lin Xian believed that if it was someone in the same realm, no, even if it was someone in the 10-star mystic body realm, that person would definitely be injured by his attack. Although Lin Xian was fierce, it was useless. He wasn't even injured. Instead, he was the one who was burned by the flames. Chu Haohan was shocked by Lin Xian. He had fought many experts before, but he had never seen someone who was a few stars lower than him being able to beat him up like this. Logically speaking, he should have been crushed, and he was indeed crushed, but he was actually able to resist. Even the explosive power was a threat to him. Thinking about it, perhaps it was because Lin Xian's martial technique was too high grade. He was even shocked. Why were all the grades of Lin Xian's martial skills so high? He couldn't understand. What kind of background did Lin Xian have? That was impossible. I've already investigated it thoroughly. However, what he didn't know was that Lin Xian was actually only at the arcane body stage 6 stars. In his opinion, Lin Xian was at the arcane body stage 8 stars, because Lin Xian's strength had reached this level, because Lin Xian had exchanged for the attribute increase. If he knew that Lin Xian was only at the arcane body stage 6 stars, he would definitely doubt himself. Who? Lin Xian took a deep breath. Indeed, it wasn't easy to fight across realms. However, he had an advantage. That was the attribute. This person's attribute was only the fire attribute, and Lin Xian had the advantage in terms of attributes. Chi. Then, Chu Haohan sneered and said, "Your strength is indeed not bad, but it's only because you're using the spatial attribute that you're able to survive." Ha ha ha. Lin Xian laughed and said, "Is that so? I guess that's not what you're thinking." He came to fight with him, because he wanted to kill this person. If he didn't want to kill him and didn't want to fight, why would he take such a huge risk to come here? Even now, Lin Xian could use the spatial jump to leave this area. Chu Haohan's eyes narrowed, and killing intent suddenly shot out. That's right. That's not what I'm thinking. He was more shocked. However, Lin Xian still had to die. He was very angry now. If his attribute strength was a powerful rare attribute, Lin Xian would have died long ago. He was only using the high strength of lightning and the high flexibility of space to fight. That was why he could last for so long. Lin Xian's spatial compression, spatial explosion, and other spatial powers that could instantly kill the enemy couldn't be used, because they were ineffective against such a high-realm martial artist. Even if Lin Xian's spatial attribute proficiency was maxed out, it still wouldn't work. 9 Dragons Empowerment. Chu Haohan couldn't be bothered to waste any more time. His body exploded with a powerful force, and 9 fire dragons shot out from behind him. They shot toward Lin Xian from 9 directions. At the same time, he held a spiritual weapon and rushed over together with the 9 fire dragons. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. This strength was indeed strong. If he didn't exchange his attributes, it would be impossible for him to fight. Whoosh! Once again, Lin Xian used Blink Shadow and instantly teleported 10 meters away, dodging several fire dragons. When the fire dragons crashed into the ground, they instantly blasted a deep, burning crater into the ground. If such power had landed on him, Lin Xian knew that he would have been instantly killed. The remaining fire dragons turned back and rushed toward Lin Xian again. Lin Xian used Instant Shadow again to dodge. Damn it! This spatial attribute is like a bug. Chu Haohan gritted his teeth and stared at Lin Xian furiously as he dodged the attacks nimbly. He was a Mystic Heaven Realm 1 star. Yet he couldn't kill Lin Xian in a short period of time. It was all because of this time attribute. Why did he have such a heaven-defying attribute? Why did it appear on a piece of trash? Suddenly, Chu Haohan's pupils shrank as several lightning bolts shot toward him. At this moment, Lin Xian's hands were constantly condensing Heaven's Thunder Flash. It was like a man-made bomb zone. He kept throwing Heaven's Thunder Flash over. The explosion range of Heaven's Thunder Flash was 5 meters wide. Chu Haohan had no choice but to escape. I have to end this battle. If this drags on, it won't be good for me. Lin Xian calculated in his heart. Go to hell. Chu Haohan roared furiously. His speed suddenly increased as he charged toward Lin Xian. He raised his spiritual weapon with his right hand and slashed at Lin Xian with flames wrapped around it. He was really angered by the beating. This despicable spatial attribute. Lin Xian smirked. When 2 people were fighting and one party was blinded by emotions, that was when he was the strongest. However, at the same time, that was when he had the most flaws. Lin Xian's advantage was the low consumption of Instant Shadow and its high functionality. In an instant, Lin Xian covered 10 meters. He dodged Chu Haohan's powerful attack and appeared behind him. 5 Lightning Constellation. Sizzle. Terrifying lightning bolts rushed toward Chu Haohan like a gale. This martial skill. Chu Haohan could feel that this lightning energy was actually a great threat to him. He couldn't help but reveal a shocked expression. At this moment, he actually saw Lin Xian use 3 martial skills that weren't inferior to Earth-grade martial skills. What the hell is this? A person with no background had 3 Earth-grade martial skills with spatial attributes. At the same time, his spiritual weapon increased his combat strength by quite a lot. Chapter 235. Chu Haohan couldn't teleport like Lin Xian. Under normal circumstances, he could only run backward when facing the 5 Thunder Constellation. However, he wasn't afraid now because he was at the Mystic Heaven Realm. Fire God's Fist. Chu Haohan's left fist condensed flames and punched forward. The lightning and flames collided, and the 5 Thunder Constellation didn't gain any advantage. This was within Lin Xian's expectations. After all, he was at the Mystic Heaven Realm. Boom! The 5 Thunder Constellation was dispersed and Chu Haohan's figure charged toward Lin Xian, along with the scorching flames. Lin Xian's pupil shrank. The difference was too great. Even an Earth Realm 8-star martial technique couldn't make up for it. Once again, Chu Haohan used Instant Shadow. However, this time, Chu Haohan was prepared. Just when he was a short distance away from Lin Xian, he suddenly stopped and blasted toward the area below him. Lin Xian calculated his Instant Shadow. He was tricked by Chu Haohan and Chu Haohan could reach him in 0.1 seconds. Therefore, Lin Xian used instant shadow. However, he didn't rush forward during this 0.1 seconds and instead released his strength on the spot. Lin Xian appeared not far away from him, and his pupils shrank when he saw this scene. Not good. The scorching flames rushed toward him. Lin Xian didn't even have time to use instant shadow, and could only release his defensive strength to block it. Putong, Lin Xian's figure fell far away. Puff, he spat out a mouthful of blood, and his blood was boiling. His entire body was burned badly. The difference between the mystic heaven realm and the mystic body realm was too great. He firmly believed that he could kill a 10-star mystic body realm cultivator, but a mystic heaven realm cultivator was too difficult. However, seeing that Lin Xian was injured, Chu Haohan heaved a sigh of relief. Why did it take him so much effort to kill a mystic body realm cultivator? Lin Xian wiped the blood and staggered to his feet. If only he was at the 7-star mystic body realm, he wouldn't be in such a miserable state. Fortunately, his physique was stronger than those at the same realm. Coupled with the attribute exchange, he would have been instantly killed. Sizzle! Lin Xian's hands trembled as he condensed the 5 thunder constellation again and charged toward Chu Haohan. Chi! Chu Haohan sneered and released his power to resist. Poof! Ah! In the next instant, he spat out a mouthful of blood and even let out a miserable shriek. Lin Xian grinned. His blood-stained teeth were incomparably red. He unleashed his 5 lightning constellation, but when he thought of the attribute combination that Qinlan mentioned, his 5 lightning constellation was just an illusion. In truth, all his attention was focused on opening up a wormhole. The lightning behind him entered the wormhole and appeared behind Chu Haohan, attacking him. This was something that Chu Haohan had never expected. A 6-star arcane body realm martial skill. An 8-star earth realm martial skill with lightning attribute and purple lightning. All of these added together were enough to cause great damage to Chu Haohan, who was at the mysterious heaven realm. Plop! Chu Haohan was half kneeling on the ground, coughing out blood continuously. His back was badly mutilated by the lightning strikes. He wasn't much better off than Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body was also burned to a bloody pulp. The two of them staggered to their feet. Damn it! That damned spatial attribute! Chu Haohan shouted angrily. He didn't feel that he was inferior to Lin Xian. The most disgusting thing was the spatial attribute. He couldn't even react to it. Furthermore, why was his martial skill grade so high? I want you to die! Chu Haohan roared. Flames erupted as he raised his spiritual weapon. Gritting his teeth, he shot it at Lin Xian. Instant shadow! Lin Xian easily dodged it again. This instant shadow and spatial attribute were simply tyrannical. They were indeed the strongest attributes. Lin Xian, who appeared behind Chu Haohan, endured the pain. The 1,000 evils in his hand transformed into a heavy sword. At the same time, the 1,000 evils was surrounded by black-red light. This was the power of the 1,000 evils shadow transformation. This was also the reason why Lin Xian was so confident in killing Chu Haohan. Metal attribute. Lin Xian released the metal attribute for the first time, causing his strength to skyrocket. 5 lightning constellation, 1,000 lightning strike. The 5 lightning constellation opened a path. The metal attribute increased strength. The 1,000 lightning strike close-range combat. And the shadow transformation broke through defense. This was Lin Xian's strongest attack. At the same time, it was also his last attack. Chu Haohan suddenly turned around with a shocked expression. Heavenly Fire Strike. The powerful flames slashed at the 5 lightning constellation. The two forces collided. Lin Xian's figure instantly broke through the 5 lightning constellation and slashed at Chu Haohan. Ha! You're courting death. Chu Haohan's aura skyrocketed. He could still hold on for a while if he used the spatial attribute. However, an arcane body realm cultivator actually dared to compete with the arcane heaven realm cultivator. Wasn't that courting death? Boom! When the two forces collided, Chu Haohan realized that he was wrong. A special force accompanied Lin Xian's attack and actually penetrated his defensive chi. Moreover, he even felt that Lin Xian's strength had reached the arcane heaven realm. However, it was too late for regrets. Puff! 2 streams of blood spurted out. The terrifying force flattened the surrounding dozens of meters. It even attracted the attention of some passers-by. Plop! The two figures fell to the ground, and there was no longer any movement. 20 seconds later, Lin Xian's fingers moved, and his powerful intent slowly opened his eyes. Ugh! Lin Xian flipped over, and used one xie to support himself up with difficulty. He staggered toward Chu Haohan, who was not far away. Instant shadow. Using the last of his spirit energy, Lin Xian released another instant shadow, and landed in front of Chu Haohan. Plop! The moment he landed, he couldn't even stabilize himself. He half knelt on the ground, and then slowly stood up again. Rip! One xie, who had turned into a light sword, stabbed into Chu Haohan's thigh. Ah! The unconscious Chu Haohan woke up from the pain. However, he didn't have any strength and couldn't even open his eyes. Blood kept flowing out of his 7 orifices. Tell me, who is the one who died? Lin Xian squeezed this sentence out from between his teeth. Puff! Chu Haohan never imagined that he would die in the hands of an arcane body realm weakling. In his current state, even if he received treatment, he wouldn't be able to survive. Heh! Hee! Chu Haohan laughed while coughing blood. There was self-mockery and even coldness in his laughter. It's normal that Qin Xiaotian can't win against you. Chu Haohan panted and said, I know you must have something on Qin Xiaotian. Give it to me. Ha! Ha ha! Chu Haohan closed his eyes and laughed while coughing blood. Lin Xian squatted down and took out his phone. He used his fingerprint to unlock it, and turned off the lock. At the same time, he took off the broken mask on his face. He didn't recognize him. Then Lin Xian stood up and walked away. At the same time, he gathered lightning in his hand. Do you think you've won? Chu Haohan's voice sounded. Lin Xian's figure paused. Do you think cough cough? I came alone. Ha ha ha. Lin Xian's pupil shrank. Boom! The lightning directly killed him. At the same time, Lin Xian reached Arcane Body Realm 7 stars. He endured the pain all over his body and ran home. Little fairy, you must be fine. You must not. Chapter 236. Bang! Lin Xian kicked open the half-closed door. The house was dark, but at the same time, he felt a bone-piercing chill. Little fairy, Lin Xian helplessly shouted twice. Xiao! Xiao Xian! Linya, who was squatting in the corner, heard Lin Xian's voice and quickly ran out. Lin Xian let out a sigh of relief. Then, a soft and delicate body ran over and hugged Lin Xian. Xiao Xian! Linya hugged him, her small head beside his ear as tears flowed down her face. I killed someone. Linya's voice trembled as she cried. It's good that you're fine. Lin Xian raised his hand and gently patted Linya's back to comfort her. Linya suddenly felt that there was a sticky liquid on Lin Xian's body. She quickly let go of Lin Xian and turned on the light beside her. Then, she revealed a frightened expression. Xiao Xian, what happened to you? Seeing Lin Xian covered in blood, Linya's tears once again gushed out. It's nothing. Lin Xian grinned. Perhaps the smile affected his wound, and his expression became painful again. At the same time, he glanced at his house. A man was holding a dagger and was about to stab him, but he was frozen. At the same time, the entire house was frozen. Lin Xian let out a sigh of relief. He was really glad that he left Linya and Ice Spirit Snow Pearl. Otherwise, he would definitely regret it for the rest of his life. Linya cried as she helped Lin Xian to her room. The door was tightly shut. Fortunately, the bed in the room was not frozen. She placed Lin Xian on the bed and quickly turned on the heater. The fear of killing someone for the first time had already been replaced by worry for Lin Xian. Linya wiped her tears and quickly washed the towel to wipe Lin Xian's blood. As she wiped, she cried. She was scared to death of those wounds. Lin Xian's body was covered in them, and there were also charred wounds that were burned to the point where his skin was torn open. She had seen Lin Xian in a weak state before, but she had never seen Lin Xian injured to this extent. She was both heartbroken and scared. I'll take you to the hospital. After wiping Lin Xian a few times, Linya saw some wounds and couldn't help but cry again. No need. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said, You let Ling Ying do it. She should have the way. It was already so late. Lin Xian didn't want to disturb Xiao Runing, but Ling Ying was different. After all, their relationship was here. Ling Ying had been in the demonic beast territory for many years, so she definitely had the means to treat external and internal injuries. Okay. I'll sleep first. Don't sleep. Lin Xian laughed and said weakly. Don't worry. It's not like in the movies where you can't wake up after sleeping. 15 minutes later, Ling Ying rushed into Lin Xian's house. Normally, this journey would take 30 minutes. She heard Lin Yi say something with a sobbing tone. Without even changing out of her pajamas and slippers, she directly rushed over. When she saw Lin Xian lying on the bed like a bloody person, her heart couldn't help but ache. Little Ying. Lin Yi quickly got up and wiped her tears. Ling Ying felt Lin Xian's relatively stable breathing and sighed in relief. The injury was quite serious, but Lin Yi's medical treatment and Lin Xian's own healing ability stopped the bleeding. His life should be out of danger. Sister Lin Yi, he's fine. Go wash off the blood on your body first. I'll treat him. Ling Ying finished speaking and sat down beside Lin Xian. Lin Yi didn't leave and watched from the side. Ling Ying took out 2 bottles of genetic medicine and poured it on Lin Xian's body. Then, she took out some medicine for Lin Xian to consume. She took out a purple bottle of water and poured it on Lin Xian's wound. F***ck, it hurt so much. Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes and shouted. Lin Yi saw this scene and cried tears of joy. It's good that you know the pain. Let's see if you still want to seek death in the future. Ling Ying said unhappily. Lin Xian opened his eyes and looked at Ling Ying, then laughed. Little Ling Ying. Don't talk. Let's leave it like this for now. I'll ask Teacher Zhao to come over and treat you. You'll be fine after resting for a while. Ling Ying said gently. Lin Xian's injury was shocking to her. What kind of battle did he go through to be injured like this? Didn't they just attend Yi Yi's birthday party? He went to the beast domain again. No, he should be fighting with a martial artist. Ling Ying then stood up and said to Lin Yi. Sister Lin Yi, although Lin Xian's injury is serious, it's not life-threatening. I'll ask a wood-type martial artist to come over and treat him. Don't worry, go wash up first. And thank you, little Ling Ying. Ling Ying shook her head slightly. It's nothing. It's what I should do. Then she went out to make a phone call. Lin Yi took care of Lin Xian. Little fairy, I'm fine. As long as you're fine, it's fine. Go wash up first. Lin Yi bit her lips and nodded slightly. But every time she saw Lin Xian's wound and the blood that couldn't be cleaned, her heart ached and she was afraid. Ling Ying finished the call and went to the room. She glanced at Lin Xian. Ling Yi washed away the blood in the bathroom. Then she went out and dealt with the frozen body. She made a phone call to the enforcement union. Then, she looked at the frozen house and frowned slightly. This cold energy was so strong. Then, she released her spiritual energy to remove the ice and tidied up the house. The night passed just like that. The enforcement union came to take the frozen body away to see if they could find anything. Teacher Zhao rushed over in the middle of the night to treat Lin Xian. Ling Ying cleaned up the house and stood guard. Lin Yi did the same. Lin Xian, who was tied up like a mummy, fell asleep comfortably. It wasn't until noon that Lin Xian opened his eyes. Hiss! He moved a little and couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. It was fine when he was seriously injured. His whole body was numb from the pain. But now, he felt that his whole body didn't belong to him. It smells so good. Lin Xian sniffed hard. Little fairy, I'm hungry, Lin Xian shouted. Bang! The door was pushed open. Ling Ying and Lin Yi quickly walked over. Foodie, you're still thinking about food at a time like this. Ling Ying couldn't help but complain. Then, he followed Lin Yi to help Lin Xian up. Lin Yi focused on feeding Lin Xian. After eating, Lin Xian let out a long sigh. Awesome! What happened? Ling Ying and Lin Yi sat on the edge of the bed. Lin Yi still had no idea what happened last night. Lin Xian pointed at a phone on the bedside table and said, Look at this phone and see if there's any message. Ling Ying picked up the phone and glanced at it. Chu Haohan? She looked at Lin Xian in surprise. His name is Chu Haohan? Lin Xian asked. Ling Ying showed the wallpaper to Lin Xian and asked, Is this the person? Lin Xian nodded. Chu Haohan. He's one of the powerhouses in the Sky Martial Court's advanced class. How did you end up like this? Ling Ying had an incredulous expression on his face. Chapter 237. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard Ling Ying's words. What? He's also an expert from the Sky Martial Court's advanced class? Ling Ying nodded. That's right. He's very powerful. He's not any weaker than me. Why is there a conflict between you two? He wants to kill me. What can I do? Why does he want to kill you? Do you have any conflicts with him? Lin Xian shook his head. I haven't even met him. How can there be any conflicts? Ling Yu was confused. She was stunned when she heard that. She went to wash the dishes. I think Qin Xiaotian asked him to kill me. Qin Xiaotian? Just because of what happened at Yi's birthday party last night? He wants to kill you? Ling Ying was puzzled. No, there's a more important reason. He wants to get rid of me. I want to kill him too. What? Lin Xian smiled. I'll tell you when I've done it. Ling Ying thought Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian only had a conflict. He did not expect it to be so serious that they wanted to kill each other. Where's he? Lin Xian said calmly, he's dead. What? I killed him. His corpse should be found by now. He's probably a 10 stars arcane body stage cultivator. You killed him alone? Ling Ying was shocked. To be precise, he's a 1-star arcane heaven stage cultivator. Ling Ying. What about you? I'm a 7 stars arcane body stage cultivator after killing him. Ling Ying. A 6 stars arcane body stage cultivator, killing a 1-star arcane heaven stage cultivator? Was Chu Haohan too weak? Of course not. Even if he was trash, he could not be killed by someone 5 stars lower than him. Of course, it might be possible if they were in the same realm. However, this was a realm above him. Ling Ying would not have believed it if Lin Xian did not say it. With such a level difference, it would be difficult to deal any damage to the enemy, let alone kill him. What a monster! Ling Ying couldn't help but mutter. It was already a miracle that Lin Xian could survive the attack of a mysterious heaven stage 1 star, let alone kill him. It's mainly because his attribute is purely fire. If he had a more powerful attribute, I definitely wouldn't have been able to kill him. Ling Ying shook his head and said, he is indeed very powerful. Although he is purely of the fire attribute, he is still very powerful. It's enough for you to kill him. However, I don't understand. You have no enmity with him, but you have some enmity with Qin Xiaotian. He must have been sent by Qin Xiaotian to kill you. However, according to what I know, Chu Haohan and Qin Xiaotian don't have much of a relationship. Why would he work for Qin Xiaotian? Benefits a handle, Lin Xian said. Blackmail. Then, Ling Ying suddenly thought of something and quickly checked Chu Haohan's phone. The two of them were very secretive. They didn't even have each other's WeChat or QQ friends. The two of them must have contacted each other through other means. Look at this phone again, and see if there is anything that can be used against Qin Xiaotian. Lin Xian asked. This might be a very important opportunity for him. If this was Chu Haohan's personal phone, he might be able to find something. Ling Ying sat beside Lin Xian and flipped through the phone. Nope. Look at the photo album. It's all selfies and photos of his daily life. There are also photos of his spiritual weapons. Wait, there's a short video. Ling Ying's beautiful eyes shone. Click on it. Then the short video was opened. The video was shot at night. Although it was very dark, the phone's resolution was good, and the distance was just right. In the video, a man was absorbing some kind of energy from a woman. The ground was frozen. It must be the cold energy. Qin Xiaotian, Lin Xian blurted out when he saw this scene. What? You're saying that the man in the video is Qin Xiaotian? But I can't see clearly. And he's wearing a mask. Continue watching. Finally, he finished absorbing and slapped the girl to the ground. Then the video was turned off. A second ago, the man turned around and seemed to have seen Chu Haohan, who was secretly taking the video. What about the time? The phone shows that it was taken 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Could this girl be Zhang Tian's sister Zhang Ai? Lin Xian wasn't sure, but it was very possible. She had died because her heart meridian was shattered. However, at the last moment, Qin Xiaotian had discovered Chu Haohan. Naturally, his target had changed. That Zhang Ai was still alive. That was why she had the chance to write half of Qin Xiaotian's name on the ground. Of course, this was just Lin Xian's guess. However, he could easily verify this guess. Is there more? There's more. It's from 3 years ago. Then Ling Ying opened the video. The video showed Qin Xiaotian. This time, he wasn't wearing a mask, probably due to his lack of experience. He walked out from a building. His face was very clear, and he looked flustered. Ling Ying suddenly saw the building number and the building's layout. He recognized it at a glance. Wait, isn't this your building? This video was actually from the night when Qin Xiaotian attacked Lin Yan himself. This Chu Haohan actually had 2 pieces of evidence against Qin Xiaotian. However, it was useless. The first video was from 2 years ago. It didn't capture the face. The second video was from 3 years ago. It captured the face, but didn't capture the process of the crime. It's all his fault. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with killing intent. What's going on? I'll tell you later. From the looks of it, Chu Haohan has evidence against Qin Xiaotian. As for the witness, he should be himself. However, he worked for Qin Xiaotian. This proves that Qin Xiaotian has something on him as well. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. The smart Ling Ying combined the 2 videos and the grudge between Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian. He could roughly guess what was going on. I don't quite understand. What was he doing in the first video? Absorbing the cold force of a martial artist's cultivation into his own body to strengthen his own cold force. What? There's such an evil martial technique? Qin Xiaotian, he's indeed an ice attribute. Ling Ying pondered for a moment. Then in the second video, did he leave your house? Ling Ying looked at Lin Xian and asked softly. That was the only way they could have developed a grudge against each other 3 years ago. Ling Ying recalled that when Lin Xian and Qin Xiaotian had met, Lin Xian had mentioned a time 3 years ago. Lin Xian didn't say anything. In Ling Ying's eyes, his silence was a tacit agreement. In that case, when Qin Xiaotian came to Lin Xian's house 3 years ago, did he do the same thing to Lin Xian or Lin Ya as he did in the video 2 years ago? Ling Ying didn't ask. At this moment, Lin Xian was thinking. These 2 videos weren't enough. Because he couldn't combine the 2 videos together, he still lacked the most basic evidence. If the first video could capture his face, it would be the most direct evidence. Unfortunately, it didn't. Therefore, Lin Xian and Zhang Tian's previous plan still had to be carried out. You're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.